Hello AJ, how are you doing, mate?
Sorry I'm late, Frank. My bad.
Well, what have you been doing? Have you been looking at the solar eclipse, have you?
Yeah, what an anticlimax
Is that the correct terminology for it?
Well, you've been doing looking at the solar eclipse. Check it out.
that's your phone or your Siri. Your Siri is responding to the solar eclipse.
Yeah, mind your own business, for crikey. For Christ's sake. Jesus, you can't get away. Listen, Big Brother's watching us all.
Yeah, it is. That's Bill Gates, that, isn't it? It's just like with them COVID jabs. He's just watching us. Yeah,
so a bit of an anticlimax.
What an anticlimax that was. Yeah, didn't really need to, make the whole town kind of stop and go nuts over it. I drove over Parbold Hill to get here, and there were many people parked on the side of the road to try and, get a good view of it.
Get blind?
Get blind. Absolutely. I looked at it at exactly 7:15, and it was just the sun, from what I could see. I squinted a little bit and saw the outline.
You're not supposed to look at it directly.
I know, but I do anyway.
Everybody does, don't they, I think?
Of course they do.
I mean, I've seen people walking past ours. One was a woman, she was looking at it directly. The other one was a bloke that had his camera sideways, and he was like that little boy.
That's really weird.
Took a photograph. Yeah, but I mean, apparently the best view would have been in Mallorca somewhere.
Well, that's no help to us.
Yeah,
God, we get nothing good out of it, do we? Honestly.
No, you get some good sunsets in Mallorca, though. I've been there lots of times before. You do get some really good views.
Some good views, yeah.
So, okay, you're late, and the reason you're late is because
I was having my hair cut.
You're having your hair cut?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, there wasn't much to cut off in the first place, was
there? Was enough. Not from your point of view, obviously, but there was enough.
Yeah, and what are you trying to say, pal?
That you don't have any hair to cut off, Frank.
Right, okay. Well, I do. Technically, I do. So I shave every morning.
Do you?
Yes, I do. Shave every morning. I've had this conversation with you before. You're a baldist. I'm
not a baldist because my father is bald. How can I be a baldist?
Well, you've just not told your dad how baldist you are.
I'm okay with bald people. It's fine. I wonder what would happen if you actually grew out your hair, Frank. I think that would be a bit more of a better sight than the solar eclipse.
Well, I think I've done it once or twice in recent times. There's a picture around somewhere of me doing the rounds where I look like the older version of John Travolta. Can you imagine that?
No.
There's loads of women listening to this and thinking you're talking right through your backside.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, I can dream, can't I? You know what I mean?
We all can. Yeah, absolutely. So I was having my hair cut. That's why I was late. I've had it styled and shaped and streaked and all that stuff.
What kind of look did you go for? The look that you didn't have before?
Yeah.
Could you have gone for something more
generic?
Better?
Better?
Yeah, your last haircut was amazing.
I know. Do you know what? He's done an absolute stinker of a job, this fella. It's because my hair is too short that he can't streak it correctly using all the tin foil and stuff like that. So he just had to
I can imagine that being an issue there, yeah.
Exactly. And so he just had to comb the product in before the dye product in, and when it came out, it didn't look great.
No.
So I might have to go back there next week and be like, I need more. You need to put more blonde in it.
You need to grow a little bit more hair. So I mean, going back in time, I think in the 1990s, maybe even 1980s, as far back as that, I once had a little bit of a dye issue with my own hair. And I ended up looking like Bart Simpson.
Okay, that's radical, that. What colour hair did you have back then?
I'm a sort of brownish, blondie sort of kind of guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was when I was younger. I was really, really sort of yellowy blonde.
Yellowy blonde.
Yeah, more of a sort of, what would you call it now? A brown.
Like a chick.
A light brown.
All right.
Now I'm probably, if I grow my hair, probably a light grey.
Yeah. I don't know, you're chairman of Skelmersdale United, so...
Oh yeah, it's a prerequisite, isn't it, to be chairman of a football club? You've got to have grey hair.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
So anyway, listen, I managed to get a couple of days away.
Yes, you did. Yeah. Tell the ladies and gentlemen where you have been.
I've been to Lytham St Anne's. So I stayed in the Dalmeny Hotel, which is on the seafront.
Of course.
Really good view there, balcony, everything. There's a spa
so.
there, not that we used it, we were out all the time, we didn't have any time for it.
And where were you going?
Have a night time? Well, we went to the Mecca Bingo.
There it is!
In Blackpool, so we travelled all the way there and made very welcome by Vicky, who's assistant manager, and Lenny, who's the manager of the Blackpool branch.
They will have been told that your arrival was impending, weren't they?
Listen, just fabulous. So Vicky is the ex-manager of the Mecca in St Helens.
Yep.
So we still sort of try to nip into these branches where ex-employees of St Helens go. So we've been to the Hip in St Helens, not particularly our favourite place, but the Mecca in Blackpool, yeah, fabulous.
All right.
Yeah, really, really friendly staff.
Good.
We got really well looked after, special offers and free drinks.
Outstanding.
Yeah, it's amazing, and it's just a fabulous person, just a fabulous place to go as well. So she knows that we're featuring her on the show, so she's going to listen. She's going to dip in and have a listen. She won't listen to the football side.
No, of course not. So she'll switch off after this now. Yeah, fair enough.
But what I didn't realise was that she travelled all the way from Blackpool to work at St Helens.
Oh God!
So she actually
what a mooch that is.
I know. So she actually lives in Blackpool, so it's great for her.
Yeah.
So I don't know what the commute was, but it would have been at least about an hour, I would imagine, each way.
Give or take. Yes.
And now it's 10 minutes down the road for her.
Easy days. She can basically walk there. She can skip. She can lunge.
Yeah. Good so we managed to have a few wins. So I think we were on the so we got there on Sunday and we went on the Sunday and Monday night.
Yeah.
And we managed to win about £220 between us.
Ooh.
So we broke even. Probably just got a little bit of I say a little bit of winnings, but probably spent that on the tables and food.
Mm-hmm.
But I had a fabulous break. Really enjoyed it.
Good.
And then come back home and. Somebody always pisses on your chips.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, listen, we'll talk about Skemi United later.
We will talk about Skemi United.
Well, we left on a defeat and we came back to a defeat.
Afraid so.
Like I say, I'll speak to you.
That's for the show.
Yeah, but listen, big shout out to Vicky and Lenny, of course, at the Mecca Bingo in Blackpool.
Ooga.
Yeah. So what have you been up to?
Well, Frank, have you ever watched Love Island?
No.
Because you have an IQ.
Yes.
That's fair.
The only thing I ever watched, and I found it really amusing when I first started watching it, was Geordie Shore. The very first series of Geordie Shore. Uh-huh. And I just liked the Geordies. Yeah. But listen, it was vulgar and tasteless. Yes. And in the end, I gave that up.
That's fair.
As I did, sort of briefly skirted with, what's we call it, Cheshire Housewives.
Okay.
Believe it or not, I had to go at that as well. Yeah.
All right.
Well, not a go at it. You know. But
no.
I watched it for a short period of time because Rowena was really into it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But other than that, which is this one you're on about now?
Love Island.
Love Island. I think I've seen something on social media today where two of there must have been the rap party or something, and the two of them were outside getting photographed by people.
Okay.
Getting selfies and whatever. So go on.
So, I used to watch...
You're going on it?
No.
Oh, right.
I mean, Jesus, if I am, then Jamie's in for a hell of a shock if she listens to this. No.
But you wouldn't be the first, though, would you? People that have been involved in relationships.
To go on. Yeah. No, probably not, no. But anyway, my point is, there was a documentary what came out last week called The Curse of Love Island, and it was a two-parter. And it kind of explores the behind-the-scenes of what went on in Love Island during the first kind of 4 or 5 series. So the new kind of inception of Love Island kicked off in about 2015, so about 11 years ago now. And at the time, there was a lot of kind of post-show pressure on these sort of reality TV stars with brand deals and public appearances and just constant fame. I mean, it was mental, but there was no aftercare for it in as much the same way as there was poor aftercare exposed on the Jeremy Kyle show.
In similar fashion to what it's like for us on the Speaking Frankly football show.
Yeah, we're mobbed everywhere we go. The fame is ridiculous. We can't go anywhere without being recognised. But it raises a... No, but the point it raised was actually quite a serious one in that, how do you cope with the fame and the pressure and the demands and the total change in how you are sort of perceived when you're just walking down the street?
I just ignore people.
Easy. I mean, it's quite difficult to ignore when they're chucking eggs at your bonds.
I do shake hands occasionally, but yeah, I'm mainly dodging eggs, yeah.
You are like John Prescott, aren't you?
Yeah. God bless his soul.
But the other kind of serious point that it raises is how these reality stars, in inverted commas, kind of deal with the fallout after they stop being famous and their 15 minutes of fame are over. And unfortunately, in the case of Love Island, it has led to 2 former contestants committing suicide over it. And it obviously raised then the very serious episode of Caroline Flack, who was the presenter on Love Island and who died as well after her arrest for assaulting her boyfriend and the media storm that kind of followed.
But you said, as well as the presenter, there's been 2 contestants that have since committed suicide.
Yes, exactly, yeah.
Right.
In about 2016, 2017, I think these happened, not long after they'd appeared on the show. And they were younger than me. Me now. So it raised that question of what kind of care is in place for these people before, during, and after, and having kind of gripped an entire generation of young people into watching it, particularly that early stage. It was kind of fascinating to see how these contestants 10 years on and 10 years more mature, how they viewed it now. And how ITV viewed it now and what responsibilities they perceived themselves as having after these contestants had left the villa.
Was it very much a learning curve for those producers and people that were involved in the show? You wouldn't normally anticipate people to commit suicide as a result of being on Love Island. You wouldn't expect that.
Well, no, but the show was so new, and it was. I mean, I'd never seen anything like it in terms of reality TV. And particularly in the age of social media, because they became
bigger, very much bigger than normal sort of soap stars.
Yes, they
really?
did.
They're under total scrutiny all the time.
Yeah, they were.
People are really, really interested in the private lives, the ins and outs of everything, of new people that they see on telly. Yeah, they aspire to be. They like the form a sort of kind of relationship, don't they? Even though they're sitting in their armchair watching it, they become intrigued and involved in their lives. I mean, listen, we haven't talked about it, but it's certainly been talked about, likes of Kerry Katona and the intrusion that she's had in her life. The fact that she's had to send her children to private school to avoid the complications of going to interstate education. So in terms of Love Island, you would imagine that children, offspring from them as well, will be under the same scrutiny as well. And you're going back to 2012, 15?
Yeah, that was when it started. Yeah, so that was roughly when it started.
It feels longer than that, doesn't it? But obviously,
well, a little. Yeah. I think 2015 was when it first kind of started, and then it really reached a peak in about 2018, something. Yeah, along those lines. That's when millions were watching it every single night at 9 o'clock on ITV. And with the age of social media that we're in now, those kind of contestants could never get away from the spotlight until the spotlight moved away from them and focused on somebody else, and then they became yesterday's news. The brand deals were gone. They had to go back to a new reality now for those of them who weren't a major success on the show. So they'd interviewed one girl who was really big on the show, really popular. She was there for quite a good length of time, and then when she got out, she got the brand deals and the fame and all of that stuff, and then it trickled off within sort of 12 months, and then she was working as a carer for a care agency to make ends meet. So it does kind of show that roundabout way of how Love Island and these kind of reality shows can be.
And of course there is a similarity between Love Island and ex-academy football players that have gone through the system, maybe had their first couple of years contracts with the football clubs, and then been sort of passed off, no longer required of football clubs. Yeah. We know a lot of players or ex-players that have had a taste of the limelight and then gone down the darker path of
they have.
Drug dealing, criminality. We hear a lot about that. We seem to hear an increasingly big amount of ex-footballers that have entered the dark side. We have. And that's from, the professional leagues all the way down to kind of where we are, really, isn't it? Anybody within the non-league system could have that taste and then have it taken away from them. And I think that, as you compare it with Love Island in terms of the circular of fame and fortune, so too is the circular of the duty of care that the organisations have to ensure that these people are prepared for life on the other side, where regardless of whether that's for the good or for the bad. And not, I would imagine, not every single player that's been released by an academy would have the PFA at their disposal.
I doubt it.
No.
Yeah. So that was a really interesting watch, actually.
Have you watched it as you've been growing up yourself?
Yes. Yeah. I watched about I probably watched about 3 series of it before I then...
It just becomes predictable then, the same old, and you get fed up with it?
For the most, yeah. I think what it was is that I sort of developed new TV preferences. That kind of when Prime came into being, and then Disney Plus came along, so you had all the streaming services, whereas Love Island was very much in terrestrial TV towards the end of its kind of peak popularity, if you like, before the streaming services came in. So there was more options to watch things, at that point. So that's kind of where I've...
So what's the documentary and what's it available on?
It is called The Curse of Love Island, and it's on Amazon Prime.
Right.
Very interesting. Very interesting.
I might watch that.
There you go. Yeah, just to, even if you don't watch Love Island, just to kind of see what the reality is.
I do like watching documentaries and seeing what you listen, because you read an awful lot about it.
Yeah.
And like I mentioned there, I think it's Vicky Patterson and others that were involved in
those kind of shows.
Those kind of shows and how it's affected them long term.
Yeah.
I mean, she seems to still be busy.
Vicky Patterson.
She's made money out of it.
Yeah, she's a radio host as well on Heart, I think it is. Yeah, I think she has a regular slot on Heart at the weekends as well. So she is doing bits, but she's one of a few that is.
For me, she turned into a figure of fun on the show.
Okay.
But she seems to have turned that around. I don't know whether that was good management, good advice.
Probably was. I think it's just a natural progression of maturity, isn't it, as well?
Yeah.
She's about 36, 37 now, give or take. So obviously back then she was 25. So you are more likely to be a figure of fun at that age, where there's a natural progression of maturity when you get to that age. From what I gather, she's married. I believe she has a child now. Yeah. So she's got responsibilities, and I think that her management team have kind of handled that really well, and she's still coming on really strong in the TV world.
And it's a good segue into the news, of course, the news flash, if you like. The headline news today is that I will be entering the next series of Love Island myself.
I see.
Okay. As an Adonis, as we know.
Yeah, of course.
I've decided, yes. Mrs. Hughes has given me the green light to go on it.
She's giving you a 6-week loan to some kind of plastic bimbo.
She wants to see if I can close the show down permanently. I couldn't imagine going on a show like... I couldn't imagine going on any reality show. I mean, Big Brother was one of them, because I think there was Obviously, Jane Goody?
Jade Goody.
Jade Goody.
Oh, yes. I remember that. When she was at the centre of that racism storm at Big Brother in about 2007-ish.
They almost destroyed her life, but obviously cancer got unfortunately in the end.
It did, yeah. She died of cervical cancer, yeah. And she was 26, I think 28, something like that. She was no age whatsoever. No age at all. I do remember that storyline, actually, with her and Shilpa Shetty and Joe Meara. That was huge. That one, that hit all the headlines back in that day. And she really got sort of
hounded.
Yes, she did. But again, that
as did Jim Davidson in the sort of celebrity version of it as well. Quite rightly so, I think, in this case. But.
I mean, I don't remember that one.
No.
No. But, the Jade Goody one I remember very well for what had occurred.
So if you were doing a reality TV show, which one would it be and why?
Oh.
Now, don't be scared of answering this question.
I mean, I'm not scared. I just don't know which one I'd rather not go on, to be honest. It's kind of...
No, this is not the one that you'd not want to go on. This is the one that you'd prefer to go on.
I mean...
Listen, Love Island is the go-to one, isn't it? Because of the sunshine.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, I suppose, actually...
That's filmed in Mallorca, by the way, isn't it?
Yes.
Or it used to be.
Marbella. I think it's Marbella.
Is it Marbella?
Yeah. Actually, I tell you what I would go on is SAS Who Dares Wins.
Yeah, I can imagine you being on there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd really like that, yeah. Swinging on the monkey bars and jumping out of helicopters and crawling in the mud.
But I can imagine you getting really slaughtered and crying your eyes out.
I have a bit more,
The spunk is the word you're looking for.
It fucking isn't.
Bravery, guts, determination.
Yeah, all of those ones. That's the one. Yeah. There was a particular word. I was using this word today, and I keep forgetting it every single time. And it's another word for durability.
Durability.
Yeah, something like that. But yeah, I think I'd manage. I'd manage. I think I'd probably get as far as like the interrogation when they're sort of kept awake by white noise and. Having the crap kicked out of them and all of that stuff.
I've never really watched it.
Have you not?
But many, many moons ago, I did go on a SAS training course down in Hereford. Not a proper one.
No.
You know what I mean? But a sort of mock one.
Yeah. Well, Hereford is where the barracks are for the SAS and SBS. Yeah.
And I passed with flying colours.
Okay. Brilliant.
Yeah, I can start a fire with the 2 twigs. I can take criticism as well. I can be really, really pummeled to pieces and still come out the other end.
This is where you actually reveal that you were not on an SAS training course. You were, in fact, in the scout camps.
No, quite genuine.
You were trying to get your campfire
It's quite genuine, really, and it cost me a fortune to do it.
Why?
But it was something. It was one of those one of those things where you feel as though you've got to do it. It's a once in a lifetime opportunity. I didn't think it could go through with it. There's a certain amount of cockiness. I was fit.
Mm-hmm.
I was strong, and I felt as though I could be competitive in that kind of environment. But knowing that you're going to come back, knowing that you're not going to be involved in proper warfare or anything like that.
You get to go back to your cosy bed.
Yeah, you're going to go back to... Well, it wasn't so cosy when you're doing it, but
no,
I mean, in the end, it becomes... the fear of going to war for anyone, there should be a fear, because if you... Mind you, that I suppose, if you... Some SAS, members of the SAS are so fearless, it's unbelievable, aren't they? And that's a worry. I suppose that's probably what... the only edge that I didn't have is that I'd be too squeamish. You know what I mean?
Really?
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, if it was sent to war back in those days, listen, if we'd have had to go to war, I don't think I'd have wanted to.
Well, no, I don't think anybody wants to.
I think
not this generation.
I think my spinal cord compression would come into play.
God, you'd never be signed off medically for this.
No, but what I'm saying to you is back in the day, they've had to find a way to be signed off for it.
Yeah, you would have done, wouldn't you?
Mm.
God, throwing yourself off a.
So you want to go on the what's it called? SAS.
Who Dares Wins.
Who Dares Wins.
Yeah, that's
I've never really watched it. I think I've seen snippets of it. Was that other fella that's been? What's his name?
Ant Middleton.
Yeah, he's been. What do you call him now? What do you call him when they
fired?
Yeah, but what do they call it when he's? There's a word for
barred, dishonourably discharged.
No, he's been
kicked out.
Like Jim Davidson's been done.
Blacklisted.
Sort of. It's coming. The word's coming.
I don't know.
Yeah. Well, that anyway.
Yeah. So he presented it, and he was kind of the front face of it for about 4 or 5 years, and it was really good then because he's actually a really good teacher. I personally, I think him and Jason Fox and Billy Billingham and those guys, they were excellent. But then, yeah, his personal life got in the way. His politics as well have started to show, and he's not quite the guy that we thought he was. So, that was really disappointing for me. So I ended up kind of throwing away his books and not sort of taking an interest in who he was anymore. But it was a really good show back then. It was a really good kind of documentary, and you saw some really incredible stories from people who were there. Ones who'd witnessed loved ones dying, or just overcome great adversity in order to do it. So yeah, that would be the show that I would go on.
I don't know which one I'd go on. Now,
Stars in Their Eyes.
Oh, he stars in their eyes. Yeah, give a go at that. No, that.
The X Factor.
X Factor. Yeah, definitely go on X Factor.
Yeah, it is.
In fact, many moons ago, I think when it first come out, I was tempted.
Yeah, back in 2005 it started. I think.
Did it?
It's 2004, 2005, something like that.
Because as you know, I'm an excellent singer. I know you gave me a 7 out of 10, I think, didn't you?
I did.
I think that was rather unfair. Then.
7 out of 10 to get you to the live shows in these days.
Yeah, but I consider myself to be a 10.
As do most people
Your
about their own
town
song.
looks the same. That's my go-to song, that the
green grass of home. Yeah, I know. I've heard you sing it 3 times.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Please don't throw your knickers at me now.
Yeah, that was Tom Jones' tagline, wasn't
it?
Yeah. Now, on that note, musical note.
On that musical note, I think we should get on with the proper show.
Yes, we should.
Hello and welcome to the Speaking Frankly Football Show. I'm Frank Hughes, the chairman of Skelmersdale United Football Club, and alongside me is my co-host and passionate press officer, AJ Viget. Not that being involved with the football club is a prerequisite for hosting a football podcast, but it certainly helps. We are ready to dive headfirst into the vibrant world of non-league football in the Northwest, and we might even take a moment to discuss some of the bigger headlines in the sport. We'll explore life in the Northwest counties, bring you interviews with well-known faces in the league, and analyse how local teams are performing while making bold predictions for their upcoming matches. Nothing is off the limits here. We'll be diving into all kinds of topics, including complicated refereeing decisions and regulations that often leave fans perplexed. We want to hear from you too. This is your show, so don't hesitate to reach out with topics you want us to tackle. Let's get this conversation started and enjoy every single moment. We are speaking frankly. Hello and welcome to the Speaking Frankly Football Show. This is Series 3, Episode 7. Amazing that we've got this far so far. Nobody's turfed us off and told us to bugger off, but we're still here after, was it 80 something shows?
I think we are on an hour about 81, 82 maybe.
83, 84. I think this might be the 84th show.
I'll take your word for it.
So by the end of this series, we should have broken through the 100 mark.
Yes, we should.
And just a general question to those that are out there listening. get in touch with us and tell us what we should do for our 100th episode. We are thinking of doing a live show.
We could do a live show.
Yeah, we've been talking about it for a while, haven't we?
Yeah.
Just
Or
got around to doing it.
do one with a camera switched on.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because...
Wearing clown costumes.
Yeah.
With ladders and chainsaws and fireworks.
Yeah, I mean, what would you wear if you were on the live show now? Would you change your attire?
I'm going to have to, aren't I? I can't be seen just wearing board shorts and a California
Have
vest.
you just got more tattoos than I first thought you had?
No, I've always had... No.
Right.
I've always had
I
these
mean,
ones.
to be perfectly honest with you, compared to some tattoos, they look okay, you know what I mean?
You're not a fan of tattoos, so that's a
No,
decent
I'm not
compliment.
a big fan of tattoos, but my dad had them, you see. When my dad was in the Merchant Navy...
It was part and parcel, wasn't it?
It was part and parcel, yeah, but you got them on the ship. And they were rubbish.
Yeah, they were.
They were absolutely rubbish.
Yeah, they were.
And I was talking to Kevin and his mate last night, and I was saying, because his mate was in the Merchant Navy, and I said, my dad got Isabel tattooed on his arm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't know how he explained that to my mum, but I'm assuming he said it was a ship that he'd sailed on.
Yeah. God.
He could have done more than sailed on Isabel.
Oh, no, he sailed on Isabel.
Yeah. We'd like to think so.
Oh.
So you couldn't get a better intro than that, can you?
It's a steady start.
From hello to tattoos and Isabel.
And 100 episodes.
Necessary on a bike.
Absolutely.
Right. So, okay, AJ, go on, you can take over from here.
If you say so. So, Franklin, the Northwest Counties.
This is AJ, by the way.
In case you hadn't realised that already from the other 80-odd shows that I've done as well. The Northwest Counties is back in full swing, so we're going to be having a look over that. The FA Cup as well, where we've already seen one team kicked out of the FA Cup for naughtiness off the pitch. We'll let you know who that is. We'll also go around the grounds at the teams slightly higher up, your Marines, your Southports, your Morecambes, your Clitheroes, Bootles, etc. Bootle, etc. We'll go through all of that kind of carry on. We'll have a look at Controversial Corner, which features Abbey Horton United, Droylsden, Burscough and Bamber Bridge, and then also Nelson as well. We will look at the Liverpool Premier League as well. We'll look at various teams as well as focusing in on SCEM. There's no guest this week, so it'll just be one big show, maybe two, I'm not sure. And then we'll look at our fixtures, predictions and expert analysis along with the final words at the end of the show. So, Frank, where are we starting?
Well, the Northwest Counties, but there's not been a great deal going on in the Premier Division because there's been no action since the 5th of August due to the FA Cup. So Charnock Richard were the only team to play last Wednesday, I think it was, and they won 2-0 against Litherland Remacher. But the big sort of talking points are within the Division 1 North. So following their opening day defeat, Muggle have won 3 games on the bounce and now top of the league.
Yes.
Their latest win was over Ashton Town, who they beat convincingly 3-0 away from home. Town have had now 4 straight defeats and sit bottom of the table. We mentioned it last week. Manager Kevin Towie under a huge amount of pressure already. Right now.
We've talked about Ashton Town for a good few years as being the team that nearly did but should have done. Yeah, the bridesmaids, if you like. We talked about it being Ramsbottom from a Premier perspective, but they've at least run to second, third place. They've got into the playoffs twice, whereas Ashton Town haven't, and they haven't done since the 23-24 season, if I remember rightly. They were in the playoffs that season, but they were edged out by, is it Pilks? Maybe. But anyway, regardless of that, the last few seasons have kind of been more disappointing than anything else. A good little setup there at the Bartons Group Stadium in Ashton in Makerfield. Some really good players on show. Chris Lomax, Connor Reddy, Michael Howard. Outstanding players in there. But for some reason, Town have fallen short of what has been expected of them for the last few seasons, and I think that Towie was already under pressure before coming into this season, and has now started with 4 straight defeats. Now, don't get me wrong, losing to McGull normally is there's no shame in that. McGull are a good team, an excellent team, but to have lost 3-0 at home to them, that is concern. I think there's kind of more concern than.
Would you like to face the mic?
Yeah, are you not getting the feedback? Are you not getting the...
I'm just saying, it goes
I will sit how I need to sit in order to deliver my analysis, Frank.
I know, but you can do that facing
God, all right.
the mic, can't you? Well, listen, you're spot on, really. No disgrace in being beaten by McGull, who we think are going to have a fabulous season.
Another one, yeah.
But I think we mentioned it last season that we need to see something more from Kevin Towie's Ashton Town.
We absolutely
listen. They've come a long way since the days when they were relegated to the Cheshire League, bounced back up again, and prior to that they were regular sort of bottom of the table
fodder.
Yeah,
were they?
To be fair,
Damn.
and then Marquez come along and give it a sort of shake and made it into a decent football club. They're getting regular decent crowds.
200 plus tend to be out.
A little bit down at the moment, but
yeah, they are. So there was 163 turnout against McGull, and 146 turnout against against Thornton Cleveland's last week, where they were 2-0 to the good with 10 minutes to go and still managed to lose that game.
Well, they go up. Those crowds go up if they're winning. So if they win the first 2 home games, then the third home game it gets bigger and it gets bigger. The question we asked last week was, does it become every manager has their sort of sell-by date?
Yeah.
And is it becoming a little bit stale now for Kevin? He's got to find a way of rebuilding Ashton Town if he's going to survive.
Yeah.
From what I gather, he's at the end of his contract as the manager. So, from a chairman's perspective, how long do they give it before? And it's really difficult to talk about this, but we can't do the show justice if we don't. No. Kevin Towie, we've had him on the show.
We have.
Ex-Chem United footballer, and what a footballer he was back in the day. But it's getting a little bit more difficult for him now, and it's not. I wouldn't say it's directly anything to do with his management. I think it's just sometimes you get to that point where things need
changing.
They need changing.
Yeah, they do. We've seen.
And he either has to get rid of some of the older players that he's relied on, year in year out, that are not really doing him any favours, and start bringing fresh blood and doing a rebuild.
Yeah.
And you know what? The hardest thing to do as a manager is get to that point where you realise that you've got to make changes, you've got to get rid of your friends, possibly, and you have got to start that rebuild. The greatest managers in the world, the likes of the Fergusons, they weren't scared of making them changes.
No.
And I think that's what Kevin's got to do now.
Yeah, I think he does. Yeah, I think there's players in there what are either not cutting the grade, or they've just not been at the races. But to concede 12 goals in your opening 4 games, that is literally 3 per game, which is what they've done. They've conceded 3 in every game that they've played. That's a bit shocking. That so if Kev is going to save his own skin as Ashton Town manager, he needs to start with a rebuild from the back, because that's not sustainable. I can understand conceding 3 against McGull, maybe against Thornton Cleveland's, all right, but to concede 3 in every game, that's a big problem. That's a really big problem. And penalties have been conceded as well, so they've conceded penalties in their last 3 games, which has contributed majorly to their losses. It was 1 of 3 against McGull, but against Cleveland's and against forward amateurs, they turn out to be very decisive moments in those games.
As we know, losing streaks are very, very difficult to get out of.
They can be, yeah.
We've experienced that now for the last 3 seasons.
We have, yeah.
It's not easy.
No, it's not. No, so I think Kevin's already going to be under huge pressure, and I think he's got to make moves sooner rather than later. I think he knows already that he can't really continue like this. Now then.
Well, we talked about it last week again, didn't we? About at what point do you make those decisions as a chairman of a football club? Because if you look at last season's table, sort of halfway into it, there was very, very little difference between bottom and playoff positions.
Correct.
And even at the top, because they changed the positions quite regularly. Ashton Town were top of the league at one stage, weren't they?
Briefly, yes, they were.
I think everybody had to go, didn't they? Squires Gate.
Oh, yeah. Nelson,
MSB
McGull,
Walton, I think, got there, didn't they?
Thornton Cleveland's. They were all up there at one point.
So it is an early point in the season.
It is, but you've
got to get out of that losing streak.
Yeah, you kind of, after the first four games, like I suppose it's a little bit different in that the First Division North now has 22 teams, whereas last season it had 18. So that's an extra 12 league games set out for you. So after the first kind of 10 or so, you're sort of starting to set your stall out a little bit for how at least that first portion of the season is going to run. Now, for Ashton to have lost 4 of 4, bear in mind they're the only team to have done that. Every other team has kind of lost 2 of 2, and that's as bad as it's gotten. Losing 4 of 4 against teams that, with the greatest of respect, they would be expecting to at least make a serious challenge to. And I suppose in some cases that they did. The Fulwood game, the Thornton game, they did. There were 3-2 losses. But against McGull, if you've got aspirations at Ashton Town to be in those playoff positions, you're needing a far better result than that.
Which segues really well into Flixton, really, because Flixton are beginning to find their feet. So following a draw and a loss, they achieved a 5-2 win over Halewood Apollo. They seem to be losing quite heavily at the moment, don't they, Halewood? Finding life difficult.
Well, that one certainly, that was their first loss of the season, but they conceding 5. Yeah, that's kind of it certainly hit their goal difference hard. It probably hit their self-confidence quite hard as well. Resilience, that's the word I was
looking for. They lost in the cup game as well, didn't they?
They did.
So I don't know which one was that, which game was that?
So Halewood losing in the cup.
Well, while you're looking at that anyway, I'll just mention that Flixton also beat Ashton Athletic 4-0 in the Edward Case Cup. At the weekend, I'm talking about Ashton Athletic, they've amassed 7 points in their opening 3 games.
That's excellent.
And kept clean sheets in all of those games.
Really good start for them, well done.
Yeah, they drew on Tuesday night away to Walton, a great result following their cup defeat, obviously, against Flixton, which... Once again, no disgrace there.
No, not at all. Yeah.
But we're talking about what we said about Kevin and Ashton Town, Flixton finding the feet, so teams can get back into form and start establishing themselves.
Well, yeah, I think it's a bit different in Flixton's case, isn't it? I know that there was an expectation that they were going to do well purely because of the kind of the money bags and the talent that they've brought in as well. But they are a new team; they are still gelling and bonding. Whereas this Ashton team, by and large, has been together for at least 2 or 3 seasons. It's a bit of a different set of circumstances, really. I think Flixton they did finally start, flexing that talent that we knew was there, with the wins over Halewood Apollo and Ashton Athletic. 9 goals scored, 2 conceded in both of those, across those 2 games. Halewood Apollo also lost by 8 goals to 2 against Fulwood Amateurs in the Edward Case preliminary round. So those 2 opening day wins against Garstang and Asheville firmly sort of put back a step by losses to Fulwood Amateurs and Flixton. Doesn't get any easier either with trips to Thornton Clevelys and Holker Old Boys sandwiching a midweek game against Ashton Town on Tuesday night. So that actually might be a very, very important game for Kevin Towie and for Halewood Apollo, is that Tuesday night game down at the Bartons Group Stadium.
Yeah. So we'll move on to Division 1 South. Wolverhampton Casuals. So often the whipping boys last season, Casuals found themselves leading the way with a perfect 3 wins, 8 goals without a reply. Stafford are in second place following a 3-2 win over Alsager, who sit just 1 space above bottom placed Allscott Heath. Newmilns bounced back from a bruising 5-0 defeat at Stafford to record a 6-0 win over Telford Town. I know you're laughing there because the paperwork says 6-9. That would have been a fabulous game, that, wouldn't it?
that would have been one for the goal scorers. That's a goal scorer's paradise, that one, 6-9.
Did we have Newmilns in our predictions?
I think you did.
Did we?
You did.
Yeah, I'm just looking now, so that's... Yeah, I'll just have a quick nose while you're yapping away there.
Yeah, so... Division...
Yeah, I did.
You did. Okay, so there we are. So Newmilns are kind of off the mark now, aren't they? 3 wins and a loss to account for their opening 4 games of the season, just behind Wolverhampton Casuals with a perfect 3 wins from 3, and then Stafford Town, also early pace setters with 3 wins and a defeat from their opening 4. Market Drayton Town finally got their first win under their belt at the third attempt. They beat Telford Town by a goal to 0 on Tuesday night. That followed up their 3-0 win against Crewe in the Edward Case preliminary stages as well. So they've now started to find their feet after a major rebuild during the summer, having lost to Brereton Socials and then Wolves Casuals as well. So a good shout out to Lloydie and his team over at Market Drayton Town, because they are now starting to build up ahead of steam.
Yeah, well done to them. Moving on to the FA. Should we move on to the FA Cup?
Let's go to the FA Cup. So, Burscough held Droylsden to a 2-2 draw on Saturday down at the community ground, but then disappointingly lost the reverse fixture 3-0 at the Butcher's Arms, a game that was played behind closed doors, which we'll talk about later. Staffo clearly frustrated with the defeat, but philosophical at the same time, stating that Saturday's game against Droylsden to come is the more important fixture. Probably gives you an indication about where their goals are for this season. Yeah, absolutely. Their intentions. So they will have played Droylsden 3 times in the space of about 10 days. They must be sick of the sight of them by the end of it. But the result that we didn't expect...
Always them.
Quite. But the big shock of the weekend was Exton Villa battering Atherton LR by 6-0.
Sort of shocked, but we watched Exton in the Burscough Football Festival, and really good value for money.
Yeah, a really, really good team. Have made some signings over the summer. Lost a couple of quite key players. Rajapal was not in the squad from what I was able to gather. Jack Byers, the flying right back.
He might have been on the bench, maybe.
Jack Byers has gone to Nelson, but in terms of Villa's on pitch personnel, still got some really good names behind them. Still really do. So they can... There's plenty that they can do. I just didn't expect them to win 6-0 against the LR. Probably one of the heaviest defeats we've ever encountered LR having in all of the 3 years that we've been doing this show. A quick get well soon as well to LR keeper Max Povey, who suffered a nasty head injury later on in the second half. He was taken to hospital, but he has subsequently taken tests and is showing some good positivity. I believe he's been discharged now as well. It might be a little while before we see him back on the pitch, but the main thing is that he is healthy and he is responding.
And I think they had an 18-year-old keeper that took his place.
Yeah, they did. They had a young one, absolutely. So
baptism of fire.
Very much a baptism of fire.
But they also lost Joe Bickerstaff, didn't they?
Joe Bickerstaff has also departed as well. Yeah, so that was something I was going to mention. Now the whisper is that he's joined FC St Helens. He lives there, he lives in St Helens, so they are his local team by all accounts. But I'm seeing this as a bit of a sideways move. I honestly thought, having been North West County's goalkeeper of the year for the last 3 years in a row, as he has been, he would have gone for a move to a Northern Prem team. So if he is going to FC St Helens, that's a big surprise. Not one that I'd called. Now, we haven't had any confirmation from it, as yet. But if the rumours are true, then that is where he's gone.
Yeah.
Big call. Big call for the young man.
Yeah. Looking at Clitheroe, they've had a resounding 5-0 victory over AFC Liverpool. As we know, AFC Liverpool very much in a state of repair.
Yes.
Since Staffo left and went to Burscough. So they're currently second from bottom alongside FC St Helens. FC St Helens also bowed out in the FA Cup as well. I just can't see the scoreline there.
FC St Helens, they lost 2-1 to Ferriby.
In the replay.
Yeah, I think it was is it 1-1 draw? I think
2-2 draw in the first game.
2-2 draw in the first, there you go.
Yeah, any other sort of FA Cup games there you wanted to highlight?
Let's have a look at you, see where we got. So, FC St Helens exiting against North Ferriby. Glossop North End lost in a replay to Tadcaster Albion by 2-0. Ossett United edged out Abbey Hay by a single goal as well. All really good turnouts for midweek games in the FA Cup. As for the Saturday games that have just gone, Barnoldswick held Atherton Collies to a 2-2 draw before Collies prevailed in the replay by 2-0. As you say, Clitheroe steaming past AFC Liverpool, 455 turning out to see a 5-0 win for Sean McConville's men. Little and Reniker got their revenge against Charnock Richard by beating them by 2-1 in a game where they were 2-0 up after 9 minutes of play. So a good little result there for Steve Scott and his charges at Remy. Nelson beat Stockport Georgians by 3-2 in a game
really
that
good
saw
result.
Excellent result for Nelson in a game that saw Sefton Gonzalez score in the winning goal in his first, in one of his first appearances back in the FA Cup after a break from the game. South Liverpool also upset Ramsbottom United by 4-2 at the Harry Williams Riverside Stadium.
Be interesting to see what our predictions are.
Very much so, because I don't think either of us called South Liverpool on that one, but the ever influential Neil Weaver grabbing 2 of those goals for South Liverpool there. So that kind of concludes the FA Cup roundup, as it were. So we'll
do you want to sort of trickle into the Edward Case Cup? I know it's the preliminary round.
Yeah, so we'll have a little bit of mooch.
Flixton won 4-0 against Ashton Athletic. Forward Amateurs beat Halewood Apollo 8-2. Amazing scoreline there.
Yeah, Spencer Lucas grabbing 4 of those goals. Charlie Ridge 3, and Joe Collins getting the other one. Halewood Apollo, Jesse Dowling once again on the score sheet for the Apollo, as well as Jordan Barrow. 82 turning out for that game. A little bit disappointing for a Fulwood game at home. On a Saturday afternoon as well. What's that? Yeah. Anyway, so what else is new? Yeah, so Main Road. I
didn't realise Jack Pearce had moved to Main Road, although I think you told me that.
I did, I told you this earlier on last week. So Main Road continuing their little revival. They beat AFC Blackpool by 4-0. Jack Pearce, formerly of Skem, for a handful of games last season. He got his team off the mark after just 2 minutes of play, and then they went on at a canter. Only 42 turning out for that game, though. So again, a disappointing.
Not a very well supported team, are they? To be fair,
no, Main Road aren't, and I think of the Manchester-based teams, they are probably the lowest supported team within that area, unfortunately. So the sort of further results as well. AFC Bridgenorth, they triumphed over Bilston Town on penalties after a 2-2 draw. As we've already said, Market Drayton, they won 3-0 against Crewe. And Wensfield Community beat Widnes Town 5-4 on penalties after a 1-1 draw in regulation time.
So Widnes can't buy a win at the moment. Really life difficult for them. I think we both predicted them to win Division 1 South.
I think we did.
I think they'll be making a change to that one.
So the 5-game mark is probably upon us next week for a lot of those teams, so that could be the time when we can change things
Are we
around.
making a date then next week?
Yes, next week we'll do it.
Yeah, brilliant. Okay. So where are we moving on to now? We've done the FA Cup. We've done the...
Move on to the National League North.
Yeah, we'll move on to the National League North. So Marine, it was a difficult start to the season for Marine with a home game against Macclesfield. 2,150 people turned out to watch Marine lose their opening game with a 1-0 defeat. Finn Shrimpton goal in the 72nd minute was enough to steal the points. Mac are one of the favourites to win the title, but they'll face a long journey to Hereford on Saturday. Well, Marine, it promises to be another difficult game, albeit Hereford continued where they left off pretty much last season with a 2-1 defeat at Buxton in their opening game.
So Hereford are in the National League North.
Yes.
That seems a bit silly.
Well, there's a lot of clubs, ex-Football League clubs in the National League North.
No, I'm talking about locationally. As you say, that's it's a serious mooch.
Yeah.
All the way down. I mean, Oxford are in there as well. Like these are some serious southern teams.
Yeah, I think
Absolutely.
it's probably split into a more east and west, isn't it?
Basically.
This north and south. It looks a bit ridiculous, but I don't know how long it takes to get to Hereford. I would imagine it's a good 2.5 hours. 2 hours.
A bit longer than that. It takes about 2.5 hours just to get. It takes about 2 hours just to get to Wolverhampton, and Hereford's, serious sort of mooch further on from there. Anyway. Southport lost 3-1 on the road to newly promoted Hebburn Town on Saturday. They were promoted from the Northern Premier Division, having won the title, and have huge plans for redevelopment. So strong start for Hebburn Town beating Southport there, and that has actually put them top of the league after one game. So good,
amazing.
Yeah, very good start for them. Very good start for Hebburn Town. Just if they can just hold on to this for another 45 games, they will seal the deal and make that fabulous leap to the National League proper.
Yeah. So looking at Southport, they've got another difficult game at the weekend as they host Buxton, who we just mentioned before, won their opening game. I think we mentioned them before.
Yes, they beat Hereford by 2-1 in their opening game. Bit of an undiscussed heavyweight at Buxton. They always seems to be in and around that top half of the table. One of those teams that you just find it really difficult to play against.
But just another one that I feel as though it's another isolated town where recruitment is quite difficult. But listen, just going back to Hereford, the drive from Crosby is 2 hours 54 minutes, 127 miles long. Yeah,
so
a bit of a 3-hour journey there and back.
That is a mooch by all accounts.
But a great day out if you're on the bus and you're having a bevy.
And if you're in the army, clearly.
Yes, listen, going back to my roots.
Roots are in Bristol. Anyway, and shout out to Morecambe as well. They drew 1-1 in their opening game in the National League North against Spennymoor Town. Once again, shadows of poor management going on over at Morecambe, and life not getting any easier for them as they adapt to new surroundings in the National League system.
Another club that you think pretty similar to Hereford, and other clubs in the Division 1 North that you feel as though will struggle ever to get back in the Football League?
I'm afraid so. Yeah, a magnificent ground. Drove past it the other week. We made a whistle-stop spot in Morecambe. It's a gorgeous ground.
Did you say hello to Tyson while you were there?
Well, he's moved to the Isle of Man, so I couldn't.
Well, he still comes over there, doesn't he, to train? I think.
God, there's a hell of a...
Isn't his gym on at the side of the ground?
I think there might be. Yeah,
Talking of him actually put money into Morecambe, wasn't there? And then
there was, but I don't think he's interested. I mean, he's a United fan by all accounts.
Yeah.
I'm not entirely sure.
Now that he's moved to Isle of Man, he's probably more likely to
FC Isle of Man.
FC Elementary.
There you go. We're getting some serious players coming in and avoiding the tax circumstances there for their £80 a week wages.
Moving on to Chester. Chester beat Chorley 2-1 away from home, despite the fact that Elliot Taylor got on the score sheet.
Good for him.
Elliot Taylor, he was at AFC Liverpool last season. Staffo took him all the way over to Burscough
for 5 minutes.
He played a couple of friendlies, I think, or a few minutes in a few friendlies, and was dispatched off to Chorley. Listen, this is good news for Elliot, because what we said was that there's probably about 4 or 5 first team choices in sort of the centre forward position that would get on that team sheet before him. So it's really, really important that he started scoring, and that's exactly what he's done. So good luck to Elliot Taylor.
Brilliant stuff from him. Yeah, what a start he's made there. I mean, scoring against Chester for Chorley in National League. I think he's the first player that I've ever encountered since I've been sort of following non-league to make that jump into the National League system, and he started off with a bang. And it didn't work out for Chorley. Unfortunately, they were beaten. They were beaten 2-1 by Chester.
I give them the wrong impression there that obviously he's playing for Chorley, Elliot Taylor, not Chester.
Yes, he is. He is playing for Chorley, and he did score their goal, but Mikel Campbell and Billy Waters scored for Chester, and they got the win. But
good luck to him.
I mean, it's annoying, really. I mean, Chorley could have taken a point. They missed a penalty in the 5th minute. I mean, what a start that would have been. But yeah, Taylor, well done to you, mate. He also completed the full 90 minutes.
Good.
So, excellent stuff for him. Good
Northern
job.
Premier League.
Northern Premier League.
So, Avro had the perfect start following their playoff promotion last season. They beat Quorn 2-1 in their opening fixture, and then battered Bamber Bridge 6-1 on Tuesday night. Cleethorpes Town are currently top of the league with 2 consecutive wins. Avro are away to Alfreton Town on Saturday. Difficult game for them. But
every game's a difficult game in the Northern Prem system, isn't it?
Yeah.
And Avro are in the Northern Prem as the new boys in there. I think I don't want to say that every game is going to be a cup final for Avro. But I mean, this is an adventure, isn't it? This is uncharted territory for the boys. And so if you're not treating every game like it's an audition piece for better things for this squad, then you've got no right to be playing at that level. So you know what? Fair play to Avro. Godspeed. Go forth and prosper.
Is it all about their manager there, Grant Shenton? He seems to be doing a decent job there. It's how long he can continue to do it.
He's doing incredible. Did anybody expect this from Avro other than Avro? I didn't. I didn't think they'd go up.
I didn't even know who Avro were until we started the show.
I didn't know who Avro were until they started scrapping with Kidsgrove. And then I knew who Avro were. I called them Aggro very briefly, but they've got themselves promoted. Fair play to them.
Do you think it's important that when you recruit a manager that you have one that has got links with the football club? Because as we know, Grant spent a fair bit of time being part of the Avro family, 150 appearances, captain's armband, been a massive influence on and off the pitch. He knows what the club's all about. He lives and breathes the club. We'll talk about Anthony Johnson in a minute. Another bloke that wears his heart on his sleeve, absolutely loves the club. Looks as though Grant has got great passion for Avro, and that seems to be helping them. Could you?
I think to be involved with the football club to such a degree is excellent. It's always excellent, of course it is. It doesn't necessarily make you a good manager, though. And I think we've seen teams kind of find that out to their detriment. But on the other side of it, if you get it right, if you get it really right, you know, you get the support behind the scenes from, you know, the chairman, your funding services, etc. You know, sky's the limit, really. So I think
it's all about having a budget, isn't it? You've got to have a budget at the football club to be anywhere near sort of capable of being ambitious,
especially at this level, Northern Premier. you'll need some serious dough in there to, because they will have been through a bit of a transition phase, won't they? They will have signed some big players, some kind of big name players who are used to playing at that level, got the experience there, things like that. This is not just kind of some whirlwind wing it adventure from Avro. So they are going to be backed, of course they are. But I think Grant is the kind of the glue that's keeping them all together, keeping them all on their toes, and setting them targets and not fantasies. Yeah.
So we'll talk about the playoff winners.
Yeah.
We'll talk about the winners, the ones that won the Northern Premier League Division 1. Division 1 West, is it Division 1 West or is it called just Division?
Northern Premier West.
Northern Premier West. So Bury's opening game in the Northern Premier League division got off to a quiet start on Saturday as they drew 0-0 at Redcar Athletic.
That's all right.
But they managed to beat Cares in Ashton 3-2 on Tuesday night in front of a magnificent crowd of 3,496.
Not bad,
They were losing 2-1 at the break but managed to turn it around in the second half with goals from Mamondo Torre and James Neild. It was manager John Anthony Johnson's first game as manager under the floodlights at Gig Lane, and boy did he enjoy it. If you look at the video on that, it's quite clear his enthusiasm for the job is undeniable.
Of course it is.
And you just cannot but wish the best for him in the future. It's very rare in football to see a club with a manager that's so in love with the football club. He's been there from a little boy, growing up on the terraces. Of course, we all know one day it'll all end with tears.
Jesus.
But, I don't want to sort of sound premature there, but
He could be another Rolly Howard and be there for 35 more years.
well, he could. But how far can he take Bury? I mean, the big question is how far can Bury go? Because out of all the current ex-Football League teams, is the one team out of that? I think there was 7 in Division 1. In the National League North. Out of all of these teams that have dropped into the non-league, do you see any of them ever getting back? And if so, which one would it be? And on what basis do you think they'd get back? Is it Bury?
I don't see it happening for Bury right now.
Who's the biggest club?
Macclesfield, I think.
No, I think Bury are a bigger club than Macclesfield.
Do you reckon?
Yeah.
Sure, Macclesfield have a bigger following, bigger history. Ish.
They might do at the moment, but they're in the National League North, aren't they?
Yeah, that's higher than Bury.
Yeah, I know, but what I'm saying to you is once Bury get to that level again...
If they get to that level again, you never know. I think it all really depends how this season goes out. I mean, I think that's one element of it, but I mean, I don't think we can seriously consider and expect Bury to get promoted after promotion, just constantly up until they're back in the pro circuit again. I don't think that's fair.
I can see out of all of them that Bury could be the ones that do get eventually back to the Football League. I don't see any of the other clubs doing it.
They never had... No, none of the other clubs had kind of as big support as Bury did, though, did they? I mean, if you look at the teams that have kind of dropped out to that degree...
Hereford would never really be
2000
heavily
really.
supported.
Yeah.
I don't know what the average game was when they were in the Football League, but then you look at Scunthorpe, Macclesfield, as you mentioned.
Scunthorpe's a bit different, though. So Scunthorpe didn't fold and start again at the bottom. They went down as far as National League North, but they built back up again, and it was changing ownership what done it. They were under the ownership of a man called Peter Swan, and it was always reasonably known that he was not a good owner at all, and his interests didn't really lie in the squad and the prosperity of the football club. So when it was taken into new ownership, and it was kind of a bit more shared and a bit more of an open door policy, that's when the tide really started to turn for Scunthorpe. So they were in the National League North for, I think it was 2 years, and now they're back up in the National League proper. And I think they went to the playoffs last season and lost. But again, they are amongst the favourites to go back and be promoted again. Yeah, they lost. They were beaten by Rochdale in the semi-finals. So, there you go.
Yeah.
So I think Scunthorpe is a bit of a different one, but I think the only other team that you can't really mark out being that is Chester, because Chester had big crowds back in the day. But again, not as big as Bury's, not as big as Macclesfield's.
Yeah, Bury's potential fan base is bigger than Northern.
Yeah, it's about 5,000 or 6,000.
Well, they've got a stadium, 16,000 seater stadium, something like that.
Give or take, yes. And they only really open, 2 stands?
Yeah,
yeah,
which is a bone of contention with some of the supporters. I think they've got to get above 8,000 before they can open it all up.
Yeah, and I think if they get promoted once more, they could probably reach that.
Well, I mean, given that they get 3,500 people on a Tuesday night, that is a big gate.
It is.
So that's a good start for them. You would expect them to exceed 4,000 on their next home game
at the weekend
on a Saturday.
Yeah,
which I don't know when the next Saturday game is, but
it's all right.
If they keep winning like this,
it'll be Saturday against Warrington Rylands.
All right, so at home Warrington Rylands on Saturday. Yeah,
there you go.
Yeah. It was all there written for you. Midweek visit, and then they've got a midweek visit to Guiseley after that. So we're talking about obviously Grant Shenton there and Anthony Johnson, just two characters within non-league football that absolutely love the jobs that they're in.
100%.
And it must be amazing for Anthony Johnson.
Glorious.
You imagine being a little lad on the terraces at Scunthorpe for you. Was it Scunthorpe?
It was.
You were in Scunthorpe and you'd one day manage the club. That's like dream stuff, isn't it?
Listen here, I'd be happy to manage Scam at this point. I think Scam has become my Scunthorpe. I mean, to sit in that dugout.
Well, we'll talk about that later. Don't spoil that.
Alright, but that's coming later.
I want to give you the proper introduction. I don't want to know all the gossip as well, you know what I mean? But let's move on to the Northern Premier League West. Bootle, the Bucks campaign, got off to a great start on Tuesday night with a 2-0 win at Runcorn Linnets. The Linnets campaign started well on Saturday with a 4-2 win over Staley Bridge Celtic.
It's a very good result, that.
The crowds of 725 and 673 in their opening 2 games is pleasing to see from the Linnets' perspective.
It is.
Really, really big gates.
Very big gates, yeah.
And if they keep winning...
Oh God, if they keep on winning, this will exceed 800.
This is like the old days of the Runcorn Linnets when they were getting crowds in excess of 1,000 at Canal Street.
That's absolutely bonkers when you consider that Runcorn Town are also in there as well. So there's a serious divided loyalty in the town of Runcorn as to which successful football club they're going to support. But I
think that goes without saying. Right now it's Runcorn Linnets.
It is Runcorn Linnets.
I think if they ever come across hard times and started dropping down divisions, there'd be a Shirley FC in the making. Had to throw that one in, you know what I mean? But there you go.
Can you imagine?
So moving on to Lower Breath, they kicked off their campaign with a 4-0 win over Lichfield City.
I believe it was 4-1, wasn't it?
4-1, what did I say?
4-0.
Did I 4-1?
I think it was 4-1, yeah.
Yeah, 4-1 win, that's right, correct. Frustrated for them and the manager Gary Moore. Crowd of just 224 witnessed their opening game of the season.
Yikes.
This is a difficult one for Lower Breck because they've really overachieved over the last few seasons. There's absolutely no doubt about that.
Yeah.
We believe that probably the man that's financing the club the most is Gary. So allegedly we're led to believe.
Yeah.
But when you're getting disappointing crowds like that, must be so off-putting. You must be thinking, how much longer can I sustain this
at this level? Yeah. So Lower Breck promoted. Season before last, made it to the playoffs of the Northern Premier League West last season. Were just edged out by, I think it was it Avro? Yeah, I think it was Avro who beat them in the semi-finals. So an amazing run of achievement that they are on. We forget that at one point, about 5 or 6 years ago, they were in step 7 out of the semi-pro circuit. So I think for Gary Moore to see 224 rocking up to the first game of the season at home, that's really saddening. And I think...
It's an insult.
It's an insult. I think it also shows the amount of dilution in footballing interests that there are in Liverpool.
Well, we're going to come to that point. Really, is this down to the fact that where they're playing rather than what they're doing?
Anfield Sports. Now, you wouldn't have expected that, would you? Because Anfield Sports, I mean, we've been there.
It's a miserable place, isn't it?
Yeah, it's not got much in the way of features to it. It hasn't got a concourse. It hasn't really got access to a bar.
Is this going to be the problem for a lot of clubs that are going up the pyramid or have the ambitions to get higher up in that pyramid?
Possibly.
These community hubs, they're not.
They are soulless, and I've heard that being said by one of the YouTubers that I follow who goes around. Yeah, he says the old grounds, the proper old school grounds, are the absolute classic
Clitheroes, New Mills, Nelsons. We're going to come to Nelson in a bit.
Yeah, we are. Little Wembley. Places like that. Yeah, they're an absolute.
I just think it's not down to the. It's not down to the performances and the level of football they're playing. I think it's purely down to who wants to actually go and see football played.
I think it is
in that sort of community hub environment.
Yeah,
there's a lot of good clubs, well run. We look at South Liverpool. We actually like going there. We look at Halewood Apollo. That's a nice little setup there.
Steaton looks like it from the outside, from the inside, doesn't it? That's one of those.
Steaton's a bit soulless as well.
Yeah, it is.
And then you can see right through the fence. I know the fence had blown down when we went there, but you can see right down to the sort of Harbour Valley with the fields.
Yeah. And I think Halewood Apollo are going to find this as well because they play on that kind of community surface.
It's just a little bit more cleaner. And brighter.
It is.
Shinier.
To a degree. Yeah, of course it is.
Lower Breck, I think we mentioned before that last time we were playing there that the pitch itself, we don't know how it passed the FIFA bounce test.
Well, that's been raised once again on the social medias.
That's no disrespect to Gary Moore because Gary Moore has no control over that whatsoever.
No, of course he doesn't. He's just played the cards that he's dealt at the environment that he's having to work in conjunction with with the local council. Yeah, absolutely. So
I don't know whether we asked the question when we had him on the show, but I'd like to know whether he would have plans to move somewhere else, whether they are looking towards the future. Because
I'll ask that.
Yeah, because you reach your sort of, could you call it physical peak? Not physical peak, but your
environmental
peak, and I think they're probably there now.
I think
they go one step ahead, but they still have the same crowd issues, and then eventually you're going to fall back somewhere. I think we met whoever we were talking about before.
There are teams that have that issue, though, aren't they? I mean, we talked about. I won't say it's nearly the same category, but there's a reason that Marine are getting a new stadium, and I think it's because where they are now.
But are they? We've not seen anything since we spoke.
Yeah, that's
to
fair.
James on the show.
That's fair. Yeah.
We've not seen a spade.
Well, let me think of another example then.
Cares and Ashton.
Daisy Hill. There's a good example for you. So Daisy Hill, really old stadium, quite dilapidated. Still only 3 sides as well, and not very well taken care of. But backed by this YouTuber ownership, made a reasonably decent start in the league. If they make the playoffs this season, how much longer can they continue to play at the Ginge Power Stadium before actually they're a victim of their own environment and they can't, continue to build any further? Yeah,
but there's classic examples of that do work. I mean, Marine 3-sided pitch. The facilities, if you go back to the 1980s, nowhere near what they are.
Well, of course not. Nobody's facilities.
You know what I mean? So you can improve your facilities around you. I was talking about Cares and Ashton because Cares and Ashton played in a typical sort of non-league environment, a very dark and dismal looking. I can't remember the name of the ground now, but back in the day it was. This was quintessential non-league football. There was one of those difficult places that you didn't want to go to on a Tuesday night, and then all of a sudden, the back end of the council, they've got this fabulous stadium. It is a fabulous stadium. There's no doubt about it. Am I right in saying that they eventually replaced it with a 4G pitch?
Curzon?
Yeah.
Oh,
do a little bit of research for me because I know they had problems. They had similar problems to what Skem had when they were at Stormy Corner. They had almost like a floating pitch. They had problems with drainage and similar issues. But the stadium absolutely fantastic, and they're a really good outfit.
Yeah,
and they've done well since they had a new stadium.
Yeah.
Listen, we were going toe to toe.
Natural grass.
Is
natural grass.
I think there might have been plans to replace it with the 3G because there's pitches around it, isn't there? There's 3G pitches around it.
Yeah, so one of the training pitches that they've got is a 3G. Is a 3G pitch. Yeah.
Well, we need to find out whether they've got plans replacing. I thought they had plans for replacing.
Well, that's in Ashton Underline as well, isn't it? Curzon Ashton. So you've got Curzon Ashton and Ashton United.
Well, back in the day, we I think before we played FC United in the final of the playoffs in 2009, so I can't remember, 2007, something like that, maybe a little bit later than that, can't remember. You can find out for me. We beat Curzon Ashton 2-0 in the semi-finals. And guess who scored both goals on the day?
Stuart Rudd.
No, Stuart Rudd wasn't there then.
2009? No, of course, that would have been.
I don't know what year it was now. I was chairman at the time, but I can't remember when it was.
Okay.
Can't remember the year, but...
Was it Sean McConville?
No. Sean had gone. He'd gone to Accrington by the time.
Alright, bloody hell. Georgie Donnelly? No, that was much later.
Yeah. Who's played for us once or twice in recent times, in the last year?
Richard Brodie?
No.
Shut up. Kevin Ledbetter.
Yes, Kevin Ledbetter. We got there eventually.
Shut up.
Yeah, I think he was a second half substitute. He came on, scored 2 goals. We cruised into what a game that was, and what an absolute pleasure it was to see Kevin come on and do what he did, because he changed that game for us.
Yeah.
And like I said, I think we ended up playing FC United in the final. Pretty sure we did. Yeah.
What great times.
We were winning 1-0. Sean McConville was there then, by the way, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because Sean McConville scored the first goal against FC United at Kick Lane.
Really?
And then Michael White handled the ball on the goal line just before the break, was sent off, and obviously conceded the penalty, which they drew, and then
they went.
Yeah, we lost. We lost 4-1 in the. They scored 3 goals in the second half, and it was all over for us. But you know what? If we'd have kept it to 1-0 at half time, listen, you can't predict what would have happened, but I think it would have been a different story altogether.
Yeah, so I've got it that Skelmersdale United lost in the playoffs of the Northern Premier League. They lost 1-0 to Curzon Ashton.
Yeah, that was one of them.
That was,
but the one before that, I think, when we played, or was it the one before that? Anyway,
it's not.
Listen, we'll move on to Prescott Cables while you're doing your research. Cables started their season off with a 1-1 draw at home to Vauxhall with a rather decent crowd of 768, but a considerably lower crowd of just 467 people witnessed another 1-1 draw to newly promoted Padiham on Tuesday night. Do we see a difficult season for Prescott, or a season of consolidation at the level?
I see a difficult season, to be honest. So Steve Daly's still in charge, isn't he?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Yeah, so that's a key kind of focal point of how they're going to manage survival, if they are, but I still think they need to... I think they just need a bit more of a foundation, a bit more of a solid base on which to kind of build, and I don't think they have that yet at this point. You look at the kind of the inconsistencies in the squad. Are they all really there? Vauxhall Motors and Padiham, very, very different teams. So very different expectations for the Cables when it comes to getting the actual results in place. Maybe they would have expected to beat Padiham. Maybe would have expected to lose to Vauxhall Motors. There's a bit of. I just don't know where the expectation is. To be honest, I don't know. Whether.
But a decent crowd, though, 768.
Yeah, that's a good start. That is a good start. I mean, what were they getting at the tail end of last season? They were probably getting about 500, and then 467 going out to see them against Padiham. Now, whether that was at Padiham, I'm not sure. It sounds like it may very well have been at Cables.
Well, we'd like to think they could be sort of big fish in a smaller pond.
We'd like to think that now. Yes.
Overstretching it a little bit in the Northern Premier Division, but maybe they could have sort of decent cup runs in the Northern Premier League West.
Yeah.
get playoffs and who knows. I don't think. Listen, we know they're not going to win the. We know that they're not going to win the league. I mean, they didn't last time, did they? They had to beat City, Liverpool in the playoff finals to get promoted. But,
they did.
Yeah, let's move on to Wythenshawe. So Withy started life back in the Northern Premier League West on Tuesday night with a 3-0 defeat at Hanley Town. Now, we featured Hanley Town, didn't we, on the show?
We interviewed Tom. We interviewed Tom McGrew.
Is he still there?
He is. Yeah.
So the investment is going well there by the sounds because they're doing particularly well, aren't they?
They were promoted from the Midland League last season, so they're back in the Northern Premier Division West. They beating Wythenshawe. Very good start. Very good start if you're a Hanley Town fan, definitely. As for Wythenshawe, not so great at all. I think they would have hoped for far more of a close game, but they did win 2-0 against Padiham in the FA Cup on Saturday. So all kind of comes back round again, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's a roundup of local football. We'll go on to the controversial issues now. I think you mentioned it at the top of the show there. Joint statement from Kidsgrove and Abbey Hulton United. Unfortunately, the FA Cup replay that was scheduled for Tuesday the 11th of August at 7:45 between Abbey Hulton FC and Kidsgrove Athletic wasn't played. The original tie was played on the Saturday the 8th of August. However, Kidsgrove Athletic were subject to an FA charge in relation to Cup Rule 100 for fielding an ineligible player. The FA now removed Kidsgrove from the competition, with Abbey Hay now progressing
Abbey Hulton.
Abbey Hulton, yes indeed, it's got a H in it. Now progressing to the next round. Bitter pill to swallow by all accounts. Kidsgrove did issue or bring the issue to the FA's attention as soon as they became aware of it. Heard about a lot of this.
Yeah, fielding ineligible players. Yeah, it's daft administration. I can never see in a million years that happening with Danny Roberts.
Listen, even the greatest club secretary can make errors. It's so easy.
Nah, not Danny Roberts.
It's so easy. These portals that you'd have to go on and like a minefield. I'm not. I would not like to be that responsible for a football club because the book finishes with it. Listen, it
stops, doesn't it?
Yeah, the book stops with you. If you're a manager, it's the same. If you're the chairman, it's the same. Everybody else gets a free ride.
Yeah, I suppose so. But fair play to Kidsgrove for actually stepping up and saying, "Look, we messed up. We fielded an ineligible player." That's some good dignity, some good sportsmanship there, because they could have easily just shut up and waited and see what happens. But fair play to them.
One story that really sort of grated on me over the weekend was Burscough's FA Cup replay at Droylsden, which had to be played behind closed doors due to the blood serving a 2-match stadium closure. Well, it was actually 3 with 1 suspended. We featured this on the show. We were maybe a little bit sort of lenient on Droylsden in many ways because we felt as though it was a little bit sort of draconian. But what is more draconian is the fact that Burscough have been punished for something that they didn't do wrong. And as we know in FA Cup games, they're entitled to a share of the gate revenue,
which they won't have had any of now.
They wouldn't have had any, of course, in the replay itself. They were,
and that's easily a 700 gate. Isn't it? That's 700 fans milling into the Butcher's Arms to see Droylsden play against Burscough in the back in the FA Cup as well, because Droylsden now being in step 5 are eligible for that, whereas they weren't in step 6. So a first venture back into the FA Cup. I suppose it's quite fortunate for them and their fans that they beat Burscough, and so they get to continue this journey and the fans do get to be a part of it. But that's a piece of history that their fans will never get back. Their first FA Cup game for how many years now? Quite a few.
Yeah.
And some sort of draconian rule that should have been limited. If it absolutely had to be implemented,
the saving grace is that they're still in the competition, their fans will get to see them play again in the FA Cup.
Yeah, but imagine if they hadn't. That's so...
I'm hearing of all kinds of unsavoury events in the original game at the community stadium.
Okay.
In which allegedly some of the Droylsden supporters made unsavoury comments about Hillsborough. Once again, this is ridiculous. Yeah. I think one or two of the players' kids were dressed up with Liverpool shirts on, and people took the mickey out of them. I can't understand why people are so
mean.
Just horrible, just evil people without thinking and making. But so listen, we know Burscough won't be particularly bothered because they weren't ever going to win the FA Cup. I think their priority is league.
Oh yes,
and the domestic competitions, the FA Vars. I think they'd like a good run in that because you can win that. You're at the top of your level there.
Yeah, of course.
It would have been nice in the FA Cup. You'd have made a few bob.
Yeah, of course.
But what do you think overall? I think that what the FA should have done is listen. Your domestic games now, you've got a 3-match suspension, crowd suspension, and anything that goes into FA Cup. You can still play your games in front of a crowd because I think they've let Burscough down, the FA.
They have let Burscough down, and they've kind of removed some of the magic of the FA Cup for both of these teams. Now, as I was saying before...
even forced Droylsden into playing the replay back at the community ground again. That's what they could have done.
Yeah, they could have done that as well.
Well, Droylsden would have Droylsden had the option to reverse that anyway. Would they have wanted to because they want to have supporters at their home league games?
Yeah,
I would imagine so.
Yeah. Again, I think it should have been limited to the league. It was a league issue that caused all of this in the first place. To just kind of remove that element of magic from the FA Cup is really kind of shoddy sanctioning. And if
it had been a league game, it would have been different. But because it was a league playoff, it was a cup.
No, I don't think that would. I don't think that made any difference. I think the FA just kind of looked at the severity of the action there and just made it outright 3 games. 1 suspended, but 2, regardless. And the annoying thing is that this never would have happened if Droylsden's game against South Liverpool wasn't abandoned. Burscough would never have been in this situation.
I know, yeah.
So all the more frustrating if you're a Linnet. So obviously disappointing for them to kind of have to go through that. But it's out of the way now. It's in the past. There's not a lot anyone can do about it. And for Burscough, they'll look to get their attention elsewhere. FA Vars, Macron Cup, etc. Whereas for Droylsden, the FA Cup run and that road to Wembley continues.
But like you said, Burscough will be sick of seeing Droylsden and vice versa.
Because they've got to play them again this weekend.
Later on, but moving on to Bamber Bridge, come.
Alrighty. So, Bamber Bridge have a player called Archie Lang. Archie Lang is contracted to Bamber Bridge. AFC Fylde put in an offer for Archie Lang and Bamber Bridge rejected it. Bridge feel the offer was derisory, and as much as we know that they have to protect the club's interests, the question is whether they are holding back Archie Lang, and how does he feel about the club's stance?
Well, we've not heard a great deal about what his feelings are.
No.
Listen, it's not like I've mentioned it before, or not mentioned it before, but I was faced with a similar situation with Sean McConville back in 2009. I felt Accrington Stanley's offer to our club was derisory, and it was only after a conversation with his dad Peter that I changed my mind and accepted the offer. I put the player above the club. I'm glad I did that, of course I am. But listen, you know what, you get that once in a lifetime opportunity.
Yeah.
I could have changed the career path of a player that played hardball with, and that wouldn't have worked. Listen, we know Sean McConville now. He's managing Clitheroe, so he's prolonged his career in football as well. I think the trouble with non-league football is that very rarely, as a chairman of a football club, do you sell a player onto the football league. I had several opportunities, and I learnt an awful lot from the Sean McConville deal when I took it into the transfer with Georgie Donnelly at Plymouth. Okay. And I did play a little bit more hardball on that, but I knew what to say.
Yeah.
And I knew what was going to get in reply.
Okay.
but I learnt an awful lot from that.
Sure.
Like I said, the Sean McConville deal. But I think bear in mind, I think Bamber Bridge haven't even won a game yet, have they, this season?
No, I mean, they were just beaten by Avro by sort of 6 goals to 1.
Yeah.
I mean, I suppose the other side of it is that Bamber Bridge, they've contracted him, so they have a responsibility to, keep his best interest at heart, even if he gets injured. They still need to pay him his wages. So they've put a lot of time and money and nurturing into development of Archie Lang, and if they feel that the offer is quite derisory, then they're welcome.
I'd love to know what the offer is.
Yeah, so would I. I think I don't think it matters anyway, because AFC Fylde have now been put under a transfer embargo, which is kind of breaking news coming out. Alongside 4 of the teams. They were embargoed.
Paperwork issue. They think it'll be resolved very quickly.
You would like to think so, but even so, what I would say is that if AFC Fylde really want Archie Lang, they'll come back with a slightly better offer. I don't think Bamber Bridge have any intention of kind of holding up what is a really good opportunity for a young, talented player to actually get his name closer to the professional circuit. Don't think there's anything for that at all. I think they just want their money's and investment's worth.
Yeah, listen, AFC Fylde are a full-time club, so obviously if Archie goes there, I don't know what he does for a profession, but I would imagine he would be going full-time there as well. I can't imagine them being great payers. Well-organised club, a bit of money in the bank. But I don't know in terms of whether the offer would have suited Archie as well. But listen, they never got past the offer. I can understand from a chairman's perspective, but I can't imagine Bamber Bridge had been paying him mega bucks either.
I wouldn't have thought so, no.
So in terms of their losses,
I think it's more the time than anything else.
Still got to pay a player, haven't you? I know you pay slightly more for a contracted player.
Yeah.
But sometimes that can only be 20, 30, 40, 50 pound more. Yeah. So your investment is it's an investment anyway. You're playing football, you're investing in them playing in your team.
Sure.
When you go on to sell them, I know the argument is, can you replace like for like once you get, if you get £5,000 for them, £5,000 not going to go very far.
No, it won't.
But it could top the wages up.
Yeah.
So if you're paying £150 for Archie Lang, and I don't know how much they're paying for him, but if they're paying him £150 a week and you've got an extra £5,000, you could up your budget to get a better player in, or someone as equally
temporarily. Exactly. You could, or you put that towards a better investment for something that they'll need in the future. If you're Bamber Bridge, I mean, as we know, Bamber Bridge were a team who had to put out a rescue appeal, for fundraising. So, bearing that in mind as well,
they're desperate for money.
They're desperate for money. They're holding out for just a little bit more, maybe. But fair enough. I can understand it from both teams' perspective, really, and I would hope that Archie is just patient enough to kind of see this thing through, knowing that he will eventually get his move.
Yeah. Let's move on to Little Wembley. So Nelson FC, founded in 1882, the same year as Skem, were the first English team to beat Real Madrid in Spain in 1923, believe it or not. I know it was a friendly. It
doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. That's an incredible achievement. So their ground is known as Little Wembley due to its lovely playing surface. We've been there before. It was subject of a recent article in the Daily Mail. I know you don't like the Daily Mail, but due to their campaign in the FA Cup starting up at the weekend. So they managed to beat Stockport Georgians 3-2 with the winning goal coming from Sefton Gonzalez,
which we mentioned
earlier on. If you get the chance to read it, please do. It's a refreshing piece on non-league football. And for those that you didn't know much about Nelson, they have a beautiful row of terraced houses overlooking the ground.
Yeah.
It's extremely charismatic. It's lovely.
It is, actually. It's a really pretty ground. Probably one of the nicest that I've been to.
Not the greatest of memories, because we got battered 6-0.
We did get battered 6-0. Yeah, it was probably one of my first away games, and was one of the first interviews that I did with Tommy. In my sort of media role. So that was quite a nice little venture. But the amount of games that they had called off last season due to that pitch being unplayable as well. Little Wembley is kind of one name for it. I think sort of Little Headache is probably the other, to be quite honest with you.
We're talking about the floodlights now as well.
Well, the floodlights are part of it.
So their chairman, can't remember his name off the top of my head.
He's the one who went to Clitheroe briefly, wasn't he? And now he's back. Yeah.
Yeah, he spent apparently £500,000 on a revamp at Little Wembley.
Yeah.
Including the floodlights, but the floodlights not work. I'd love to know what the problem is with the floodlights. We need to investigate that one, don't we?
We do, yeah.
So anyway, listen, moving on to a very unsavoury sort of episode. A semi-pro footballer was filmed driving at 191 miles per hour on a motorway and has been jailed. The Crown Prosecution Service has said so. Connor Charlton, 32, a centre forward from Nostell Miners Welfare in the Northern Counties East League, was also involved in a scam with other drivers to penalty points for speeding offences in return for cash. He was jailed at Leeds Crown Court for 4 years and banned from driving for 4 years and 7 months. Does that run once he comes out of jail? This is a pretty pointless exercise.
I was going to say he's going to be in the nick for 4 years of that. Well, he won't be. He'll do about sort of 18 months with good behaviour, and then he'll be out on licence, won't he? He'll be doing a Jamie Vardy, and he'll be back playing for Miners Welfare, and then have to hop the fence at 4:30 to get back for his curfew.
I'd love to know what he was driving.
191 miles an hour. He was.
It's got to be a McLaren or a
Lambo.
Ferrari.
Yeah, something that goes 200.
Something fast.
Oh God, yeah. 191 miles an hour. There's only certain kind of cars.
But at 32 years of age, though, now, he's not going to be playing football again when he comes out, or very little.
Probably won't.
Be playing for the prison team.
God, he will be playing for the. Yeah, it will be like the longest yard, won't he? A BMW.
A BMW? Didn't know they could go that fast.
Yeah.
Must have been a souped up one.
Oh God, yeah, yeah. It's definitely a souped up one. So he was charged with 10 counts of dangerous driving and 4 offences of perverting the course of justice. So,
silly boy.
That's about...
At 32 years of age, I think he'd have more sense, wouldn't
you? I'm 32. Let's not go into common sense. Yeah, no, but even then, I have my limitations.
Are you 32, yeah?
Yeah.
You're 32 now, aren't you?
I am, yeah.
Yeah, and you've got 0 common sense, have you?
Well, I know not to do that, but otherwise, yeah, no.
Well, you can't be lucky to do 45.
This is basically correct. I cannot do 109. I can barely do 91 miles an hour in that car. I don't even think I can do half of that. There's a couple more controversial stories that I just want to bring to your attention, if you may.
There was one I'd forgotten about, but go on.
That's all right. So, Lewis FC. They released. No, sorry. It was Enfield Town. They've released a statement about a game involving Lewis FC, where they were concerned and disappointed to observe the behaviour of a number of younger supporters in the game on Saturday in Lewis. This behaviour does not align to our values as a community family-friendly club and is not something that the board will tolerate moving forward. The board met on Sunday morning to discuss our action, and as a result we will be refusing entry to a number of the group at our games going forward. So they've named and shamed the boys in effect, not publicly, but they've done it within their own sort of sphere of concern as the board. And I think that's absolutely the right move. So rather than issuing a generic ban, because we've had this discussion before about younger fans entering games and just being idiots.
Just ban the individuals that were
just ban the individuals for.
And what did they do again? Do you know?
There's no real indication as to what exactly they did. It was stuff that was labelled as unpleasant and antisocial and had a detrimental effect on the reputation of the club and supporters. So it could have been anything, really.
Just probably vulgarity, the normal standard thing like we've witnessed at, or people witnessed at the community stadium on Saturday.
Yeah, it's possible that could be it. Yeah, and it's cost them. They're now going to have to look for other places to hang out and be as Bowie at. But it's a good move by Enfield to not do a blanket ban on younger fans, because I think that's a massive shame. Younger fans, they're part of the future of teams like Enfield. So to kind of, I think if you're going to have younger fans at the game, they need to be committing into a season ticket. Otherwise, they're allowed to kind of get away with this kind of behaviour, or they can attempt to, knowing that they'll probably not care if they're kicked out and banned. Whereas committing to paying for a season ticket, much easier to identify them and issue a ban.
I once witnessed a young mountain bike rider coming into a football stadium. I'm not going to name names. He was in the full Under Armour gear, or whatever they call it these days. Balaclava, the lot. He did a drugs deal and he went.
Oh, for God's sake.
Yeah.
Right.
The world is full of them. Listen, what I would do is I'd create some kind of law where if you show uncivil manner at a football match, you're made to work for that football club for the next 12 months.
It's community service, isn't it?
Yeah, some kind of community service.
Yeah, I can appreciate that. God,
give them the option of a blanket ban, or doing some work for the club.
Yeah.
And getting to know. I think anybody gets the opportunity to know how a football club operates. And I've said this about Scammerdale United before. Just look into the history of a football club. Speak to the people that are involved, the volunteers. Get to know the people and the characters, and understand why we are so protective of our football clubs and the legacies, the histories. You need to educate them.
Yeah, you do.
That's all they need is education, and they're not getting it from the parents.
No, and I think boredom is a huge sort of focal point as well. Is that they feel sort of bored enough. Well, not even bored enough. They just feel like they can act like that.
They're in a group of people and they show off, and one thing leads to another, and they become vile and intolerable. They need to be taught about. If you just keep passing them on and chucking them out and sending them everywhere, they just go. They become somebody else. They become somebody else's problem. Then don't they? They don't get about in the corner.
Yeah, the idea is to rehabilitate, isn't it? That's the that would be a great step as a community football club if that's what you can
chain them to the stand on a Tuesday on a Tuesday evening when it's sleeting and snowing and blowing a gale, and make them sing songs, but chain them to the stand, force them into being there. On a miserable night, make them pay as well. But chain them to the stand and make them sing. Force them into singing.
I feel this is a slightly draconian course of action, to be honest, Franklin.
Well, there's more draconian things going on in life than that.
Alrighty. And
so the
other controversial comes out of Hackney Wick FC.
Hackney Wick.
So Hackney Wick are a club operating at step 5 of the non-league pyramid. Out of sort of London area. Okay. And they released a statement. Hackney Wick can confirm that they have parted company with the first team manager and coaching staff with immediate effect. We believe in giving people opportunities. When we appointed the management team, we were fully aware that they were stepping up from step 7, having previously managed Sungate FC. Despite their previous side struggling towards the lower end of the table, we were prepared to take that risk because we believed their knowledge of players within non-league football could help us build a competitive squad. Unfortunately, it became clear early on that the step up was proving too significant and that the standards required at this level were not being met. We accept responsibility for making this appointment. As a club that prides itself on providing opportunities, sometimes those decisions will work and sometimes they will not. However, when it becomes clear that something is not working, we have a responsibility to act in the best interests of the football club. We thank the management team and coaching staff for their efforts during this time, wish them well. Our immediate attention goes to preparing the players for Tuesday's away fixture at Halstead. Not currently looking to appoint a new permanent manager, and will communicate any further developments when appropriate. So that kind of raises the question, how big is the level jump between management that then proves a bit too far?
Well, I think the first point to be made is I don't think they needed to go into as much detail as they did.
Okay.
I think they could have just parted company.
All right.
You just said it's we generically say these days it's a result based business, and things didn't work out. I don't think you need to go in as much detail as that. That's management works or doesn't work for numerous reasons, and it's not always down to ability or status or where you've you managed before. You know, it's down to budgets, relationships with players and directors of football clubs.
Yeah.
I just don't think. Listen, you know, when we parted company with Nick, we just said it's a results-based business. When we did the same with Matt and Pascal Chimbonda, know, the same reasons why ultimately managers lose their jobs. It is a results based business, so I don't think they needed to go into as far detail. I don't think if you look at what Gary Moore's achieved at Lower Breck and taking them from the Liverpool Premier League up to the Northern Premier League West, that's a hell of an achievement, and he didn't have any practice.
No, he didn't. Neither did Steve Scott.
No,
really. He'd done bits at Asheville, obviously, but there's
other managers like that. You look at, I mean, a totally different level altogether now. But you look at John Coleman and Jimmy Bell. Yeah. They went from the Unibond as it was then all the way into the Football League.
Yeah.
You know, arguably it could have gone wrong, but you know what? There's a certain amount of luck attached to any football club. You've either got it or you haven't. Right now, we haven't got it. No. We've not got that spell of luck that is required to move a step above where we are. That doesn't mean to say that we'll stay on the doldrums forever.
No.
And it doesn't mean to say that any of the managers that we've had before, if we'd have persevered with them, couldn't have achieved similar.
Yeah, of course.
The issue is that I don't think you really need to go into detail about why you parted company with them.
No.
And Hackney Wick.
I think what's even more interesting is they parted company after 2 games of the domestic league season.
They'd been managing them prior to the end of last season.
No, he'd managed them during pre-season.
They'd have witnessed a lot from pre-season friendlies as well. Like you say, 2 league games.
One of which they won.
Yeah.
Jump the gun?
Well, you know what? I think what it is really is that everybody wants to know the ins and outs of why you sack a manager, and sometimes it doesn't really matter what you tell them, because some people will agree, some people will disagree. Ultimately, it's people want to see the results, and if somebody steps into their place now and they start winning, nobody really cares about whether they won one, lost one.
Yeah, that's true.
Whether they were the right people for the job. Mm-hmm. I've always said it before that the relationship between a manager and a chairman,
most important one,
is the most important one, because if they can get on together, then if they're singing from the same hymn sheet, then the targets would all heading towards the same. We've all got the same ambitions and the targets.
Yeah.
I think, just like I said, I don't think they needed to reveal the reasons why they've done it. But listen, they won't be they're certainly not the first, and they won't be the last club to sort of air the dirty laundry.
This is true. Yeah.
So moving on to the Liverpool Premier League and Skem. So first of all, at the top of the show, I'd just like to say a big thank you to Josh Yell, who was our strength and conditioning coach. Decided to move on and concentrate on his business. Yeah, it's fair enough. Been an absolute pleasure to have him on board. Wish we could have kept him for longer. Yeah. I think he had the impression that the players didn't particularly like strength and conditioning, but I think they really, really appreciated it. They didn't like being run through the ringer, but I think they really appreciated the fact that whilst he was there, they were getting fitter.
Yes.
And he was a great guy to have on board.
He was brilliant. Yeah, we loved having Josh. He was such a good guy, such a different personality to anybody else. He's very sort of softly spoken. He wasn't a big shouter. He let his knowledge of the game and his knowledge of fitness do the talking.
And a good looking chap like myself.
Yes, he was. Yeah. Yes, he is.
Well,
yeah. It's a shame that we won't see his face at the dugout anymore. Obviously, he's welcome back to Skem anytime he wants to, and we wish him all the very best in his endeavours with his business for the future.
Yeah, most definitely.
Yeah.
So Skem, 2 defeats in our opening league games in the Liverpool County or the Liverpool Premier League, I should say.
Yeah.
Difficult to watch in many ways. First 2 games. Both games we should have possibly been winning at half time. We didn't, and we let ourselves down in the second sort of half of the games.
We did.
Difficult because it felt as though we were the better team in both games. It felt as though against Formby, I felt as though we had the measure of them in the first half, and it felt similar. You didn't see the game against Formby, but you witnessed the one on Tuesday night
against River. Yes, I did. Inherently difficult to watch against River, just purely because in the first half we had them on the ropes. We really did, and better finishing, and we're 4-0 up at this point, 4-1 up maybe. But then it's daft mistakes at the end of the first half that takes them in 1-1 at half time with all the momentum, and then for the second half, I don't want to say that we looked a completely different team, but we weren't. They were on top. They had the initiative. They had all the momentum, and we really didn't. We didn't get it back at all. I think there were elements where we rode our luck. I think Joe made a couple of really good saves. They hit the post. Leighton was on top form at the back. He'd done really, really well. Jake as well. But they kept playing the channels to really rapid wingers.
Do you think the formation that we had to start with, we've in many ways forced with players out through either injury or work? So we played a back three again. Exposed by the two wingers.
Yeah, I'd say we could have really done with playing the back four, to be honest. I think because we moved to the back four in the second half, didn't we? And it seemed to go a little bit better. Was that? Am I right in that? Or?
I can't remember, to be honest with you.
No.
But I mean, the result would say no, because we conceded goals in the second half.
Yeah, I suppose you're right. Yeah.
So it tell a totally different story. I think concentration levels need to be worked on.
Yeah.
I think we've got to stop blaming each other, from a player's perspective.
Yeah.
I think they've got to understand that, the reason that we're in the position that we are is because a lot of players as a collective have underperformed over the last season and a bit now.
Yeah.
We've managed to retain a lot of them players. A lot of those players have improved. JT is absolutely amazing, albeit he got sent off on Tuesday night for a late lunge.
Yeah.
But other than that, he's been an outstanding asset to the team.
Yeah.
Mason Watson, Sid.
Mason and Sid.
I think people have mentioned it now. You've got a front two, 16 and 17 years of age, and not particularly graced height-wise.
No, they're short as anything, but that's deceiving on the eyes because they both more than held their own against taller defence, and with the ball at their feet, they were still testing them. They really were.
Not being able to penetrate. I don't think we got as many crosses in as we should have done, particularly in the second half.
Correct.
I think you got a big man there, you lift it over and you head it. We need a Crouchy in the team, don't we?
We do need somebody with a bit of height about him.
But the old argument again is about we're giving lads a huge platform to become experienced at a very, very young age. Are we asking too much of them? Or are they not learning the simple principles of football, shape, formations?
Bit of both, I think.
And concentration levels. You've got to concentrate for 90 plus minutes. You've got to be prepared to play for 100 minutes plus.
So I think what I would say to that is there was not a single player in that team who was over the age of about 25.
I think the oldest in the team was Peter Smith when he came on.
Peter Smith and Tom Sinnott. Peter Smith is 32. Tom Sinnott is 20, 26, 28, something like that.
A couple of years on him there.
Yeah.
Forgive me for that.
And both of those two were on the bench, so we didn't really have a lot of experience in that team. But players were still talking to each other through that first half. But it was when the adversity came, when we conceded the first goal, and then when we conceded the second one, it was like heads just dropped. We lost all our momentum. We didn't have enough resilience in that team to say we can still get this back. Even when we scored the second goal very late on in the game to bring it back to 3-2, there still wasn't any real belief that we could go and grab a further goal.
That midfield circle is the the issue. We've not really got a holding midfielder there.
Not particularly. We've got ball playing ones, and we've got an engine.
But we've not got anybody filling those gaps in midfield, so that ball's getting played back far too quickly from attack to defence. And there's just that sort of abyss, that sort of gap in the middle, and we're not sort of penetrating it. We're not making ourselves busy enough in there. I think sometimes we're playing too much box to box without looking at that central area there.
Yeah.
I mean, do you agree with me there?
Yeah, I mean, it was quite congested, wasn't it, in that area? But it was mainly dominated.
It wasn't congested in that area though. That in that middle area there, we weren't sucking up the space.
But they were. Yeah. Is what I'm saying. Is that they were.
But they didn't have to really, did they? Because that big gap there, you're playing the ball from box to box yourself.
Well, yeah, they were playing it to the channels, weren't they? Yeah. And all they had was speed, and it still worked for them, to be honest.
The worry is that the two teams that we played are not going to be the greatest teams in that division. No. But that said, Grenadier, they started out their campaign on Friday night, and they lost 2-1 to Granby Tsffs Athletic, which tells a confusing story, really, because we played them in the pre-season friendly, our last pre-season, and we could have won that game with a little bit more fortune and better aptitude and luck, concentration again.
Yeah, you've got to wonder what's going on with the Grenadier. Maybe some of their players have finally made that jump into step 6. You never know.
Fine margins, but we always thought that these teams that play on a Friday night are playing on a Friday night so they can give the opportunity to some of those players to play at step 6 and above on a Saturday as well.
You're asking a lot of a player to play 2 competitive games in 24 hours.
Yeah.
Jesus. Yeah, so that was certainly a shock. Sefton Athletic, they also played on the Friday night. They won 4-2 against the newly formed FC Community of Liverpool.
Who that's a believe have got a budget.
Right. And then Saturday teams was East Villarreal beat Nalgo 3-0. Waterloo Dock edged out Ormskirk West End by 3-2.
But can we mention that one? Ormskirk West End were 2-0 up at one stage.
That's interesting.
And they looked good. I watched a bit of the game.
Yeah.
After our game, because they were playing there as well, and it looked as though it was all over.
Jesus.
For Waterloo Dock, indeed, I think Ormskirk West End might have hit the crossbar as well, or the post. Wow. So they had opportunities to increase their lead, but Waterloo Dock got back into it. Talking about City of Liverpool that they've stagnated in recent seasons and dropped right down from the Northern Premier League West into the Liverpool Premier
in
League.
In the space of 2 seasons.
Yeah. In similar fashion to us, almost.
Almost. Yeah, of course. I mean, there was wonderment if they were actually going to field a squad ready for this season, because it didn't look like they were going to at one point. But they were beaten summarily by Woolton Reserves by 6-0, which concluded, their campaign, their opening season, sort of really difficult circumstances, and then River beat L4 FC, who are our next opponents, on Saturday afternoon by 2-0. So as it stands, River are top with 2 wins from 2 games, closely followed by Woolton Reserves, East Villarreal, and Sefton Athletic, Formby, Waterloo Dock and Granby, who all have 1 win from 1 game. Down at the bottom, City of Liverpool and Liverpool Nalgo occupy the bottom 2, with Skem are 14th from 16 teams, L4 right above us with 1 defeat from 1 game. We're the only team who've played 2 games and we've lost both of them.
Yeah, and look at some of the other fixtures. Friday night, Sefton Athletic at home to Nalgo.
Fabulous. It's a good game.
Interesting game that. We expect that to be a closer game than the one against East Villa, where Nalgo lost 3-0.
Yeah.
East Villarreal, really good.
That's a very good team there.
Yeah, against Grenadier. So they'll be playing Grenadier on Saturday. Like you say, L4 Football Club playing Skelmersdale United on Saturday. That is a 1 o'clock kickoff
At Anfield Sports
at
Community.
Anfield Sports Community, which we've been talking about before. Liver Academy host City of Liverpool.
Yeah.
Interesting one. That's at St John Bosco College.
Yeah.
That, again, is a 1 o'clock kickoff.
Yep, Live are opening their account for the season.
And
in
again,
that
what we
game.
could possibly stop at is Waterloo Dock versus FC Community in Liverpool, because that's a 3 o'clock kickoff straight after our game.
Well, I'll need a hand getting to that game. 'Cause I haven't got the car.
You haven't got the car.
I do not.
You need to put your foot down
In what car?
in the car that you've got.
She just needs to buy another one. Anyway, so some wonderful games in what is a really good league. Actually, I think we thoroughly enjoyed being in the Liverpool Premier League last season. We're looking forward to the campaign this season. A lot of friends we've made along the way. You know, people like Gary Berwick up at the club. All the fellas down at Granby Toxteth Athletic as well. Great setup there. So we're looking forward to mixing it in with these teams again, hopefully with a bit more success than last year.
Yeah.
So there you go.
So we move on to the fixtures for the weekend, our predictions and our usual expert analysis.
Yes.
We can export our expert analysis.
Yes,
but before we do that, we need to look at the results and our predictions from last week. You haven't got yours?
No.
You haven't?
No, I was in such a rush to get here, I completely forgot.
Oh, your haircut.
Yeah.
100 came before your predictions. Well, I'm going to leave that to one side. I'm not revealing what that was.
Fine. We'll do it next week.
Yeah, you no idea at all what you know?
Not even close.
I didn't do particularly well and I don't think you would have done particularly well because a lot of the results went totally against us. So listen,
That's not helpful.
This is probably the most pointless exercise in the Speaking Frankly football show history, but we'll do the predictions for next week in the hope that you
pull it together. Yeah, all right.
Okay. Wednesday, which is tonight, and if we've been looking at any of the results, they've probably already been done, and I'm not. Have you already made your predictions?
No, I've made my predictions, but I haven't seen any results.
Good, I'll be checking on that. So AFC Blackpool versus Camelaird.
Away win.
Away win, I'm going for an away win as well. I'm just going to go with you in the slightest possibility that you're cheating.
Shut up, you're going to mark me out with this guy.
Oh yeah, my monitor's gone off.
Well done.
Yeah, shouting. Right, so okay, Camelaird for that. Garstang versus Squires Gate. Upper Mill versus Darwin, yeah. So First Division South, Barnton versus Cheadle Heath Nomads.
Game's going to get called off.
The game's going to get called off?
I can see that game's going to get called off.
Oh, so you already know?
I didn't say that.
Oh, so you already know, you've seen that. Why has it been called off?
Pitch. Too dry.
The pitch is too dry.
Too dry? Yeah, apparently it's too
It's
dangerous.
got absolutely nothing to do with the eclipse. Because somebody said that they had to stop a game during the eclipse.
Well, yeah, that's fair enough, but that's only going to last you 5 minutes, isn't it?
So, okay, that game has not been played. Is that what you're saying? You're nosing it now.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, it has. Yeah.
All right, okay. Wolverhampton Casuals versus Eccleshaw. It's an interesting one there.
Eccleshaw.
Right, I'll go for Eccleshaw as well, but I've got a feeling you already know the results.
I don't.
Okay, so listen, Friday, the one that you can't predict is the first qualifying round of the Isuzu.
Sponsored by Isuzu. Yep.
Isuzu FA Vars. Daisy Hill versus Cheadle Town. I'm going for Cheadle Town.
Yeah, I'm going for Cheadle Town.
Walton versus AFC Liverpool. I'm going for Walton.
Yeah, I'm also going to go for Walton there.
So Saturday the 15th of August is when it really, really kicks off.
Kicking off.
Appleby Frodingham versus Charnock Richard. I don't know a great deal about Appleby. Appleby Frodingham, but it's a lovely name.
Appleby Frodingham is based in Scunthorpe.
Scunthorpe?
Yep, so Brumby Hall Sports Ground. I've been there before. It's where I scored my first hat-trick as a junior playing football competitively. At the age of 11, we won that game 6-1. So Appleby Frodingham in the Northern Counties East League, very much kind of lower end of the park, so I'm expecting Charlotte Richard to win this one.
I'll go for Charlotte Richard. Armforth Welfare versus Trafford. I'm going to go for Trafford.
I'm also going to go for Trafford. Armforth Welfare based in Doncaster, again Northern Counties East, sort of towards the upper end of it, but I think Trafford.
I've been there before.
Yep.
Ashton Athletic versus FC St Helens. I really don't know how to call this one, but I think FC St Helens might just about sneak this one.
Yeah, so will I. I
can't see them losing much longer, can you?
No, I can't. I think the rot stops a bit earlier with FC St Helens.
Atherton LR versus Camelair.
I'm expecting Atherton LR to get right back, to get over that Camel's hump and beat Laird by... so LR to win.
Phrase there. I'll go for Atherton LR as well. Barnoldswick Town versus Colne. That's a big derby, isn't it?
That's an East Lancs derby, and I think...
Stone throw away from each other, aren't they?
They are, pretty much, yeah. So I think Barlick are going to win that one.
You do?
I do.
Yeah, I'm going to go for Colne. Bolden... CA, is that... What's that CA stand for? Colliery Athletic or something? Bolden is a man.
Bolden Colliery Athletic, I think it is.
Versus Longridge Town.
Longridge Town. Just because we know them.
Cheadle Heath Nomans versus Wythenshawe Town. I'm going for Wythenshawe Town. Dudley Town versus Alsager. I'm going for Dudley.
Dudley.
Eccleshaw versus Allscott Heath.
Eccleshaw.
Flixton versus Bamber Bridge Athletic.
Flixton.
Folleymere versus Redditch. Going for Redditch. Glossop North End versus Staveley Manors Welfare.
Glossop.
I'm going for Staveley Manors Welfare. Earlham versus Barnson. Earlham. Kendal versus Steeton. Kendal. Main Road versus Remy. New Mills versus Northwich Vicks. I'm going for New Mills.
Shut up.
Retford versus Exton Villa. I think that's going to be a tough game, and I'm going for Exton Villa still.
I'm still going to go for Exton Villa. You know, Brandon Carrington's not been in the squad since
I know he's got an injury.
Has he?
Yeah, ankle injury apparently. Heel or something.
That's interesting.
But listen, once he gets back to fitness, I think he's pretty close to getting back in there. Route 1 Rovers versus AFC Blackpool.
Route 1 Rovers.
Sandbach versus Ashby Ivanhoe.
Yes, Ashby Ivanhoe.
Going for Sandbach. Selby versus Baker Borough. I'm going for Baker Borough.
Baker Borough. We've been to Selby.
Yeah, a difficult place to go, but I think Baker Borough have got enough about them.
So do I.
So Squires versus Borough Rangers been postponed due to a walkover for Squires as Borough Rangers have withdrawn.
Yeah, they withdrew from the league entirely on the eve of the season opener.
Yeah, I'm going for Squires Gate. Anyway, Stafford Town versus...
I mean, for the love of Christ.
Stafford Town versus Abbey Holton United. I'm going for Abbey Holton.
Yep.
Studley versus Market Drayton. Going for Market Drayton. Telford Town versus Darlaston Town. I'm going for Darlaston. Wensfield Community versus Sutton United. Winterton Rangers, place that I've been to before, versus Darwin. I'm going for Darwin. Definitely.
I'm going for Winterton.
So Premier Division: Abbey Hay versus Prestwich Hayes. Burscough versus Droylsden.
Burscough this time.
I'm hoping Burscough going to make it third time lucky. Chadderton versus Nelson.
Oh.
You know what? I'm going to go for Nelson. I think it's going to be a difficult one.
Yeah.
But I just think, I've got this funny feeling about Nelson.
All right then. Yeah. Nelson.
FC Isle of Man versus Ramsbottom. I'm going for the FC Isle of Man.
I'm going for Ramsbottom.
Right, okay. We should have a clear winner on this one. So First Division North, Asheville versus Fulwood Amateurs. I'm going for Asheville.
Draw.
Yeah, Garstang versus AFC Knowsley. I'm going for a draw. Halkett Old Boys versus Ashton Town. Halkett Old Boys. Northern Thornton Cleveleys versus Halewood Apollo. I think that's going to be Thornton Cleveleys.
So do I.
Upper Hill versus McGull.
Upper Mill versus McGull. I'm going to say McGull.
So Upper Mill, they play at Seal Park. Who else plays at Seal Park? Quiz question for you.
Avro?
No. Northern Premier League West, though, round about that.
Oh, God's sake.
Scam used to play them on a regular basis to get decent crowds down there. They're very, very vocal. Nice little stadium as well. Overlooks the hills and the peaks and troughs.
Yeah, sort of the Huddersfield area, isn't it? Huddersfield, Oldham, Halifax, maybe. I don't. God's sake.
Right, I'll give you.
I don't know.
Mossley.
Oh, Mossley.
Yeah. First Division South, AFC Bridgenorth versus Crewe. Go for Bridgenorth.
Bridge.
Brereton Social versus Bilston Town.
Brereton Social.
It's actually pronounced Brereton.
Brereton. But there's two R's in there.
Brereton.
It's Brereton.
Brereton.
Fucking isn't.
It is. Listen, answers on the postcard. Dorley Town versus Wolverhampton Casuals. Can Wolverhampton Casuals keep on winning?
Can you pronounce it? At their stadium, the Theatre of Jockeys.
So Dorley Town is called the Theatre of Jockeys. Yeah, I wonder what that's
Right.
about. We need to do some investigation on that.
We do
for
need
next
to do
week's
some
show.
investigating. I'm going for a draw.
I'm going for Wolverhampton Casuals. Shawbury United versus Widnes Town. Do you think Widnes Town is going to start coming good?
Not yet.
Not yet. Shawbury United.
Yeah.
First Division North on Monday, the 17th of August. Daisy Hill versus Upper Mill. I'm
Draw.
going for Daisy Hill. Main Road versus Flixton. I'm going for Flixton. So Monday again, Division 1 South. Cheadle Heath Nomads versus Alsaid. You're going for Cheadle Heath Nomads.
Yeah.
So Tuesday, Premier Division, Abbey Hay versus Trafford. I'm going for Trafford. Atherton LR versus Chadderton. I'm going for Chadderton.
Draw.
Barnoldswick Town versus Rammy. I'm
Rammy.
going for Rammy. Burscough versus Litherland. I'm going for Burscough.
Yeah, I'll have 200.
Charlotte Richard Nelson. I'm going for Nelson.
I'm going to say a Charnock Richard.
Yeah. Droylsden versus FC Isle of Man.
Droylsden.
I'm tempted to say a draw on this one, but I've got a feeling that Droylsden. FC St Helens versus Earlham.
Draw.
Yeah, it could be, but you know what? I'm going to go for an FC St Helens win. Prestwich Hayes versus Glossop North End. I'm going for Prestwich Hayes.
Draw.
Division 1 North, Ashton Town versus Halewood Apollo. I think Ashton Town.
It's got to be a really important game, that one. I'm saying a home win.
Yeah. Camelhead versus AFC Knowsley. I think AFC Knowsley will pip that one.
Draw.
Fullwood Amateurs versus Cone.
Fullwood Amateurs.
I'm going for a draw. McGull versus Ashton Athletic.
McGull.
Well, Ashton Athletic are a bit of the sort of draw specialists, but...
well, they just got off to a decent start, haven't they? But McGull are flying at the minute. I can't really see them
go
not
for
winning.
McGull then, yeah. Squires Gate versus Holker Old Boys. I'm going for
Squires Gate.
Squires Gate, yeah. And First Division South, Market Drayton Town versus Sandbach. Sandbach United for me. New Mills versus Barton. New Mills. Telford versus Allscott Heath. Telford just about. All that. No, I'm going for a draw. Stafford Town versus Foley Mere. I'm going for Stafford Town. So that concludes all the fixtures for predictions for the weekend and the week ahead.
Yeah.
I'll have to keep that with my predictions from last week because you let me down.
I didn't let you down. I just
I
was in a hurry, Murray. Right,
okay, I'll keep that underneath there, keep that hidden underneath there so you can't see the see how many I got right. I was disappointed, to be fair, and I think there might be a lot of shocks this weekend as well. So
could be.
Won't be at all shocked. So, what have we learned this week so far?
My hair takes longer to sort out than I would like.
And looks no better than it did.
Shut the fuck up.
Yeah, it looks like a. I was going to say it looks like a bit like a Brillo pad. You know, the wiry ones.
Fucking pardon.
Listen. It looks like an army haircut. It looks like an American army haircut.
I know. I don't know what he was doing with that.
You look like a GI.
Certainly not.
Yeah. Listen, it's okay. It's okay. It's just that I thought
I'm just going back.
Spending 3 hours in a hairdresser's getting a haircut and getting it styled, and I thought he'd have. I was expecting. Listen, your last 2 haircuts I've been in total praise of, haven't I?
Yep.
Yeah, I thought it would have been wonderful.
Yeah,
Barbara has let you down then.
I know, I'm going to go back to him.
Yeah.
So
you've learned not to go back to him?
No, I'm still going to go back to him, just because he's made one mistake. We keep faith with people for
But you need the dye. Do you need the tints?
I want the tints. I want the dye. I want the streaks.
You're going to ruin your hair eventually, You could end up bald like me, if you're not careful.
Maybe. How do women get away with it at the ages of 60?
So is that all you've learned this week, or is there anything else you would like to add?
There's no match for experience, particularly in the league that we're in.
Yeah.
Yeah. Still need somebody who is old enough to drive at night on the pitch.
Yeah, me a little cheesed off with what I've seen as a little bit of tapping up at the end of our game on Tuesday night.
Yeah. Have you spoken to the club concerned?
No, listen, I'm not going to fight over that. Listen, they're doing their job, and you have to appreciate that. And the very fact that he's a decent player, that they're tapping up, they're doing their work, they're doing their job right. Just a little bit. The timing of it was a little bit awful. And then, listen, they'll argue at the toss and say, listen, we weren't tapping him up at all. But he's watched him. And he's obviously seen how lightning quick he was down the wings. And what extra depth he gives the Schem squad. And listen, he's seen it on Saturday. First hand.
Yeah.
So, yeah, a little bit cheesed off with that. But listen, it's a little bit more blatant at this level than it is, Northwest Counties. And you have to put a 7-day... notice of approach in, which helps you to talk to the player. At this stage in the Liverpool Premier League that you can sign a player, dual register him, do whatever you want within minutes, and he can switch from one side to the other.
Yeah.
It's bonkers, really. But you're not doing your job if you're not looking. No. I just think, for me, it's all about class, and I think if you're going to do it, don't do it right in front of the chairman, the manager of the football club.
That's just blatant, isn't it?
Yeah.
We'll nick a few of their players, even it up a bit, or just stick a needle in his car, in his tyre.
Yeah. Yeah. Listen, you want to be careful what you say there.
I mean, I'm not actually going to do it.
Yeah, you were just saying that in your fantasy world, you'd burst his tyre.
Yes, exactly.
Anything else you've learned?
No. My organisation sucks. And just rushed.
Feel a little bit miserable after the last couple of games. I had this great sort of
vision.
Couple of days away, and I've come back. Off the back of a defeat, have gone away. It's lifted me, and then, like I say, we play again on Tuesday night, and somebody pisses directly on my chips right in front of me.
There it is.
And I feel as flat as a witch's boob.
Yeah,
I was going to say tit, but I thought,
But I was on the dugout, and that was pretty good.
Oh yeah, we were going to mention your dugout debut.
Yes, yeah. So you
did a Gordon Johnson, didn't you? And became our first aider.
I wouldn't say I did a Gordon Johnson. I was wearing shorts that were appropriate for a man of my age.
You didn't get to run on the pitch once?
No, I didn't, and I was fine with that.
What was it like being in the
dugout?
Yeah,
I really enjoyed it. Actually, I felt closer to. I don't want to say that I felt closer to the team, but it was nice to kind of listen to how Brodie and Colin kind of go about their business.
I get to speak to both Colin and Richard, obviously, and that's part and parcel of being the chairman of the football club. So I'm very involved in that cutting edge side of things, and it is intriguing. And I think the only other two jobs where people get a great insight into what's going on, and probably first hand better insight than I do to a degree, is the kit man, and because he's listening to what's getting shouted at in the changing rooms, and you obviously see what's going on in the dugout. A little bit of a disappointment, and I'll flag this up to Gary Berwick and the Liverpool Premier League, is that we were locked out of the changing rooms at half time. I think it's important that we have a ritual. We prefer to go into the changing rooms at half time. No reflection on them, because they have I wouldn't have thought they have any control over that.
That's
Listen, we want them to lock it up anyway to make sure that all our valuables are safe.
Don't get
but
nicked, yeah.
I still believe it should be opened up at half-time so we can do our half-team talk.
Yeah, it would have been helpful.
That was a little bit annoying.
Yeah, of course. It's one of those. Yeah, but, can't be helped.
Yeah.
But yeah, so what an experience that was.
Yes, so you enjoyed it,
I
and
did.
You're going to be doing more of that now.
I am, I took the
So
first aid.
how are you going to pedal bike with 2 first aid kits? That's what I want.
So I'm planning on getting the train for this one. If there's a train station near Anfield, which I believe that there is, I'm going to hop on there from my nearest train station.
I'll be able to pick you up, but it'll be very early, because we're going to pick Richard up as well.
Yeah, of course, and that's in completely the opposite direction as well.
Well, not really. Pick you up and then I go straight to Southport and then into Liverpool. I mean, the Thornton bypass is... where are we playing again?
Anfield.
Anfield,
Yeah. I'll let you know.
So we'll go through Bootle and swing to over to Anfield. But yeah, let us know, and I'm always available.
See what we can do. Yeah.
Anyway,
So
listen,
that concludes the show.
That concludes the show, and leaves the final words to the dulcet tones of AJ Vegeta, or the squeaky tones of AJ Vegeta.
Squeaky? Who are you calling squeaky?
It's not me that calls you squeaky. I'm
not squeaky at all. I don't know
paraphrasing
who's calling me squeaky.
Yeah. Oh, there's quite a few people.
Well, they can freak off then. Listen.
Anyway, final words to AJ.
You've been listening to the Speaking Frankly Football Show with me, Barry White, and my co-host, Mr. Frank Hughes. This podcast is available on streaming services wherever you get your podcasts, including Spotify and Amazon Music. Please rate and review, as we do thrive off hearing your feedback. Please also subscribe so you can find out firsthand when a new episode of the show has been released. We're also available on social media sites, including Facebook and X, under the term Speaking Frankly Football Show. And so from Frank and myself, thank you very, very much for tuning into another episode of the show. And we'll see you next week for more of the same. Until then, a very goodbye for now.
Well, that's a wrap again, there. Thank you.
I'm knackered.
Oh, yeah, I'm knackered as well.
It's the longest day in the world.
It's a late night now. It's 25 to 11. We know what we can do now. We can have a look at the results.
All right, fine.
So I thought we'd just take a little look at the results, because I could be a few. We've shared, haven't we? We've got the same results.
Well, to a degree, yeah.
So we'll be level pegging here.
We might well be.
So let's see.
Barnton and Cheadle Heath Nomads, that was called off, so that's 5 points for me.
Cheat.
I'm not a cheat.
So AFC Blackpool drew with Camelot.
No shit. Did they?
Squires beat Garstang.
Called it.
Darwin beat Upper Mill.
Called it.
Yeah, I think we both called that. The only one that we didn't call was the...
So what about Wolverhampton Casuals and Eccleston?
So Wolverhampton Casuals, they lost to Eccleston.
Yeah, called that.
We called that, didn't we? Yeah.
2-1.
Tight game, 2-1.
Yeah, very tight.
So the only one that we've got wrong then is AFC Blackpool versus Camelot.
Yeah, and you know what? Fair enough to
what did we go for there, Camelot?
I went for Camelot. Yeah, I think you did as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. So all right, not a bad start.
Yeah. Listen, I didn't mean to pick on you with your haircut, you know.
Honestly, you've been a proper bastard this evening. A haircut. Call me squeaky.
It's not that bad, but you know what? Because of the way it's been presented today, and I'm assuming it's got Harmony hairspray in it.
It hasn't got Harmony hairspray. It's got some clay product in there.
Clay?
Yeah, but I had no time. I literally legged it out of the hairdressers all the way down the road to my house, got in my car, and then came straight here. I've had no time for anything. I still have little hair residues on the back of my neck.
Listen, I'd never reveal this on the show. I wouldn't. But I just want to mention to you, just be careful with those supplements that you're using for your hair, because your hairline looks to be receding a little bit.
What the fuck are you talking?
Seriously, it's getting closer to the top there.
No, it's not.
It is. That's what you happen when you use these tints and dyes.
Fucking hell.
I'm just looking at you now and thinking what you'd look like bald. I mean, you could be bald very young.
Still managed 9 years more than my dad did. He went bald at 23, I think.
Does it run through the family? Has he got any brothers that are bald? Or sisters?
No. No, my uncle has a good head of hair. He's 70 and still has a good head of hair in him.
Yeah.
Christ.
So what are your plans if you do go bald?
I don't fucking know, do I?
Sorry, when you do go bald. Because you're going to go bald, there's no doubt about it.
Cheers, Frank.
You can see it there. But you know what? I've got a vision of what you're going to be actually like. You're not going to go fully bald. You're going to have sides and a back.
What, like a reverend?
Yeah, you're like a beard on the back of your head.
What the fuck is the matter with you? Honest to Christ, you've been a proper, like, attack personality this evening, honestly. You've been assaulting my character. Like
So what's the comedian's name? Maxwell, is it?
If you say so.
Is it Maxwell?
I don't know.
Mick Miller? That kind of haircut we're looking at? You've got that to look forward to.
I don't know who that is.
But you could do a summer season at Blackpool on the North Pier when you lose it.
Where the hell is all this coming from?
But listen, you become really popular now because you're on this show. So you're a known figure now. Not that anybody sees you, but
exactly,
it's the picture, and you look really, really well. You look like George Michael-esque, don't you, on that picture?
Yeah,
the caricature.
Yeah, exactly. That's a caricature.
With a chocolate bar in your hand. You haven't had the chocolate bar for weeks, have you?
I haven't had that.
That's what it is. Maybe if you start having chocolate bars again, your hair will go.
Honest to God, if my hair starts receding, I'm going to be freaking livid.
But listen, I won't mention anything on the... I'll never ever mention anything on the show when we're recording it. I'll never mention anything about your bald spots.
Of course you will.
So your receding hairline and that little bald patch on the top of your head as well.
I'm just getting grumpy now. I'm going out.
Oh, go on, bug it off, then you're miserable.
See you next week, dickhead.